Hey, welcome to TTBoy TV. This is December 19th, 2020. 6 days before Christmas. Anyways, what's up? We have a special guest, of course. All my guests are special. Most of them. But it's a friend of mine. This guest has done so much. He's seen so much. He's been in all the avenues of the business, pretty much, except for being an outside distributor.
True.
But performer, how he started, director, and then a company president, right? And so please welcome Tony Martino.
Whoa, you're going back to the old days. Sir.
Yeah, is that the original name?
Oh, yeah.
I know everybody calls him Chuck.
Well, when I came back in the business, there was, they didn't call me Tony, they called me Chuck. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to stick with the same last name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Tony was the beginning.
Tony Martino. I saw you in movies, right?
Really?
Yeah, you stood out. I remember seeing you. And the thing was, probably like most people, is that you can identify with some guys, but some guys you can't. So you might be like, and then some guys you say, oh my God.
Right.
These guys, I want to fuck that motherfucker up. You want to know who I want to fuck up?
Who? In the 80s?
No, when I was watching pornos in the 80s.
Okay.
When I was just a kid.
You want me to guess?
Yeah.
I would say Steve Drake.
No, I liked him.
You like Steve
Yeah,
Drake?
he was cool. He seemed cool to me. You know, he's a decent guy. Goldberg. I like him. He just didn't like me because I was taking all the work.
Right.
I mean, I
That's
like him. You know what I mean? Mark Wallace is his name. You know, I liked him a lot. I still do. I mean, not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Great scenes.
He's a great performer. Great performer. I think Mark's one of the top performers of all time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Mark Wallace, one of the top performers of all time. He didn't do something nice. That's not my business. I really don't know. I wasn't there. But, that's what people say. So a lot of people are mad at him, but...
You never know.
you never know what happened. So I remember seeing you vaguely, right? And I said, yeah, he seems kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Do you remember seeing Peter? Al?
Oh, of course. I would like that. I said, he's super cool, right?
Just don't fuck with my hair.
Peter North, right? Yeah, because you know Al very well.
Very well. Well, we started at the same time.
You did?
He started, I'll tell you the story about that when we get to that part of it, though.
Well, tell me right now. We can do it.
Probably my second movie, Jim South sent me to a woman named Drea. Drea was Bill Margold's wife at the time.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I love Bill Margold. Rest in peace.
Great man.
Great guy. Unbelievable.
And he was married to Drea, so I go to her office.
Was she hot?
She was hot. Yeah, sexy, short blonde hair, a little older. She did porn like 80, 81.
Oh, yeah?
Like early days.
Because Bill Margold said he worked with John Holmes in movies himself.
I worked with John once.
Well, hold on, because I had that question, but keep going this way.
So I'm in her office, and she goes, okay, I'm going to be back in a few minutes. Maybe get yourself ready, right? And I'm just a kid. When do we get ready? And I look down, and there's a picture of a dude, and it's an 8x10. It's 4 pictures on it, and he's in a cuffs and collars. He's got a big old cock strapped to his leg. I'm looking, I'm like, I know this dude from the gym. This dude goes to my gym.
Oh, it's Peter North.
It's Peter North.
Oh, yeah?
It's Peter North in the pictures.
But why did they give you a guy's picture to get ready for?
I think it was just sitting on the desk.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. I'm like, why is he giving me a dude's picture? But anyway, so it was Al. I'm like, wait a second. I see that guy at the gym all the time. I never said anything. I didn't know who he was.
Really? Oh, yeah? That's a trip. You talked to him at the gym, said hey or no?
Never before that because I didn't know who he was. But then when I saw the picture, I'm like, how do I know that guy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, so you see guys in movies and you say to yourself, oh, that guy seems cool, or that guy seems like a dick. But, we're going to get off the top of your head. Were there any guys that you watched in movies you thought was a dick automatically just by watching them, not knowing them?
I didn't watch movies before.
Oh, really?
I never had seen a movie before. I was a stripper. I was a dancer at the Chippendales, and we had a group down in Orange County. And if you want me to go into how I got into the business and all that, it was through someone we both know.
Whoa, really? You didn't see any movies ever?
Never saw. Wait.
Oh, my God.
As a senior in high school in Huntington Beach, we used to drive down Beach Boulevard to a porn theater right by Knott's Berry Farm, across the street. John Holmes. We're watching John Holmes, in the videos. the old seedy movie theaters. And I'm like, to my buddies, like, why the fuck are we in here? Well, we can't just jack off in here. We're watching porn. He's like 17 years old, right? And it was just like John Holmes on a boat. That's all I saw. But never any videos.
So you're just like,
yeah, I'm like,
you're a stripper, so you're getting pussy.
every night. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'll go through all the whole stuff.
All right, let me go back to my questions.
Anyway.
We got off a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, of course, thanks for coming.
I love it.
Okay.
Anything for you, bro.
Thanks
I was a big fan. I was a big fan of yours.
Really?
Come on. Dude, the first thing we did together, one of the first scenes I did when I came back was with you and Peter North. You remember?
I can't remember. I did a lot of scenes, you know what I mean?
Dude.
Thousands.
Just so you know, this guy acts humble. He was the best. I wait in the scene, and it's Lacey Rose, okay, laying there, for Jim Holiday, Sorority Sex Kittens. It was at the VCA studio over there by...
Track Tech?
No, it was another one that they had right by their building. And it was us three, and I'm on one side, Al's on the other side, and you're going to fuck her first, right? And Al's looking at me, he goes, Chuck, you better get ready. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you better get ready. He starts laughing. I'm like, but look at him. He's still got his jeans on. He's got his tight jeans on. I warned you. So about Bill Holiday says, okay, go ahead, start up. He pulls a hard end out of his pants. Rock hard. I'm like, I looked at Al, I said, what the fuck is going on here? He goes, I warned you.
Al said that?
Well, you were sitting there. He goes, I warned you. I'm like, how does he have a hard on? He's wearing tight jeans. He hasn't even touched the girl. I go, are all the guys like this in the business now? And he's like, no. That was a good scene. That was fun, though.
Yeah, I'm not...
A little intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you were cool. You weren't a dick. You weren't a dick at all. And you were probably nice to me because I was friends with Al and you were.
No, but I liked you. Anyway,
you were really tight with Al.
If anybody kind of hit me the wrong way, then they could feel my wrath quick. Or I just mind my own business as much as I could, you know what I mean?
You were pretty quiet, though.
Yeah, I'm very quiet. I was focusing, always focused.
We didn't realize that at the time. We kept asking you, what are you taking? What are you taking? What are you on? Well, what you were on was what you were doing right in front of us every day, whether it be going outside and doing wind sprints, which helped your stamina.
You saw me do them?
We did renegades for Buck out here in the desert, right up the road here. And you're outside in the 40-degree cold doing wind sprints. I go,
oh, yeah?
What's he doing? Now I understand. I didn't get it back then.
Yeah.
Stamina.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for, when you're fucking hard, you overheat. It's easy to overheat, right? And as soon as you overheat, your blood's got to leave your dick. You're sweating, so you can't do a good scene unless you have radical stamina. If you're doing high-powered, passionate scenes,
Right.
If you just I think Tom Byner's a great performer, but most time I saw him go pretty moderate pace, pretty mellow. I never see him put some crazy juice on. I seen Al put some juice on. I seen Rocco put some juice on. But so you have to be in some really good cardio if you're going to put up the juice. But
see, in the 80s, no one did scenes like that. No one did scenes like you in the 80s. Al didn't do scenes like you in the 80s. No one did. No one did.
Really?
I mean, come on. I mean, as it's turned out over all these years, what do you got? You and Rocco. You two are the only real two doing those scenes. Mark Davis. I mean, Mark Davis came in later, and he's a stud too, but you know what I'm saying. There was only you and Rocco doing those kind of scenes.
Mark Davis is great.
I mean, I've been gone for a few years when you came along, because I worked 84, 85, and left about midway through 86. So you came in a couple years after that. There's no fucking like that.
Really?
Come on.
Well, I was an actor, and that's what I would say. It doesn't seem like these guys can really keep up with me. It hit me one day. I was like, but I thought Mark and Tom were real strong.
Yeah. They were, but different strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what?
Peter North is great.
Phenomenal.
I mean, for me, Peter North is the best porno star.
He is an unbelievable.
Right?
Come on, I bet the girls love.
They love Peter North,
Loved him.
Good-looking guy, stays in shape, big dick, crazy cum shot, nice guy. He's the best porno star.
Hey, back in those days, people lost their mind. They had never seen a cum shot like that. And when we all three were together, I hadn't seen him in years. And I'm up there by the pillow above the girl's head. And he starts coming. He's like, and it came all the way across. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, what's going on here? Oops. He goes, oops, I lost it. What the fuck you? I mean, I had to be 10 feet away.
Really? I mean, me and Al worked together so many scenes, you know, so we'd be back and forth. But I want to get to one point. So I came up with a thought. I told Jake about it, right? Jake Steed, you know. I said, man, I seen these guys in the porno. They always pull their pants down with a soft dick. Because it's hard to get comfortable in front of, you know, the cameras, right? And people just don't know. They think, oh, yeah, sure, we know. But anyways, I said to myself, I came up with a terminology, right? I did. I came up with a terminology I'm going to share with everybody. And I shared it with Jake first, and then I shared it with Al, right? The idea. And it's called gating.
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 Okay.
So nobody really understands this, but it's called, so out of the gate, you're hard. So I would make sure.
How did you do that?
Well, sometimes my mind was so strong that I could think of an image, a girl, you know, that I liked or wanted to fuck, and I could do it. But most of the time I was just tapping my dick and waking it up and using my mind too. That's how I would do it.
But you'd be wearing tight jeans.
Yeah, well,
you don't understand that. That's hard to do. You're not wearing shorts. You're not wearing sweatpants. You're wearing tight jeans.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
That's some mind control. That's some heavy mind control, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I practiced a lot. But, you know, so anyway, so last time I saw you, right, I think, I can't remember, right, but I know for sure this time I saw you, I think it was around 99. I was in Houston's restaurant. I walked in there. I saw you there. And I was with two black girls, right? This one pretty dark-skinned girl and a cute light-skinned girl. But the one dark-skinned girl was so fucking beautiful. You know, right? And then you were with Shea Sweet.
Right. Houston's in Warner Center, probably.
In Woodland Hills, right?
Woodland Hills,
I think it was 99.
Right.
And I saw you. You're like, hey, here's Shea Sweet. Because you like your blondes, right? So you're showing Shea Sweet up. But I had this girl who I fucking was crazy about. This dark-skinned girl. She was just so fucking beautiful. You have to look at her to understand, you know what I mean? You know, because you could just pass by her and just say, oh, yeah, it's just a black girl. No, but if you looked at her and said, oh, my God. Anyway, she was just fucking incredible, right? Face, body, every fucking thing. Sweet, you know? Anyways, and that was last time.
You lived right next to me. I lived off Burbank. You remember when you lived off Burbank? I lived in Warner West, across from Denny's on Burbank, and you lived in the next block. I think it was right off Burbank. It was 74, 84, 94. It was in 98. Because I was hiring you in my movies, and you go over to my buddy Don Fisher's or Mickey Ray, was his stage name, and he'd shoot you. You don't remember that? Right on Burbank.
Are you sure you hired me?
Dude, you know how many times I hired you? I even looked back last night through a lot of the movies. Yeah, because I walked into his house, because he was shooting them at work at Sin City. And while I was at work, I'm like, go ahead and just shoot him with two Latin girls. And I walked in, and you were like, dude, thank you so much. You know what I like.
Really?
Oh, two beautiful, like, they look like twins. They're from,
I can't remember.
They're
sure?
from San Antonio. Million
sure?
%.
Wow.
One of them was Kevin Beecham's girlfriend, and one of them, it was her cousin, Lily. Lily was her name. It was a Fillmore Butts movie. Dude, you were probably in 3/4 of the movies I did.
Really?
Fillmore Butts movies, yeah.
Thank you.
I looked through them last night. I would tell you, the problem was you didn't want to work because you were starting to do your own stuff. So when I was working for companies that had the money,
oh yeah,
you were already like, you do it. You always, yeah, I'll do it. But I could tell, so I didn't want to call you. And,
yeah, you know, at a certain point in time, I was too focused on my company, so I raised my rate to a high rate, and then
I think it was like, but I mean, at least with you knew what you were getting. So the money wasn't the problem. I could tell you weren't into it. You're like, kind of busy doing it.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you, but
so that was anyways.
I'd rather not.
Really, is that?
Unless it was close. These were really close to where you lived, because you lived right. You don't remember living there? Dion used to live in a house right there too. And
I remember that.
It was a little side street between
right off the freeway.
Right off the freeway.
Yeah, noisy as fuck.
Noisy as fuck.
Because I had the house bordering the freeway, the backyard, almost off the off ramp.
From my balcony, I could see your house.
Off the Shoop off ramp.
Yes. Yep.
I remember that house.
Was it. Yeah. That was it. So that was the last time. And whenever I'd hire you, you'd work at Don's house, which is right by Denny's on the other side of the street on Owens Mouth, and Burbank.
Really? I just can't remember that one, but I mean,
So you didn't mind doing it?
I remember Don. He's a cool guy.
because
I
he'd
like
cheat
him.
you all the time. He goes, I'll just shoot. It's fine.
I saw the guy in the magazines before I got into business.
Remember?
Right? He was a good-looking guy. So that guy seems like the girls like him. He's, but he wasn't a good performer. Nice guy, but
Great
shitty
guy.
performer.
Great guy.
Yeah,
Great guy.
good guy.
Dude, it was hard back then. People don't understand.
I don't know.
With no Viagra and no pharmaceuticals, it's not easy. It's easy after you do it for a while.
Okay, so
and learn. And I'll tell you later how I.
So let's say it's all right. So, because this is one of my statements or questions, half statement, half question. I was gonna ask you, tell you, but you already brought it up. So many people get on and comment on my site, right on my channel, and they say, "Oh yeah, performers nothing. Oh yeah, you guys think it's something, right? Oh, it's easy, it's nothing." I mean, how hard is it with the pressure of a high-powered director film? Because if you're shooting film, it costs so much money, and if you're not hard right away with a girl you might not be into, you tell me about it.
Come on. In the 80s, we would we'd have to go to San Francisco to work because it was illegal. And the sound stage is there, like Bossy's soundstage, freezing cold, huge, 50 people standing around, hot as hell. And they're like, let's go. Let's go. I don't want to wait.
Was it Alex Dorenzi shoot? Because he don't fuck around, Alex Dorenzi.
None of those guys in San Francisco in those days fucked around. I mean, I worked for Jerry T a lot. You know Jerry T?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
A lot. And I got some good stories with Jerry T. But it was hard, man. It was hard until you learned how to do it. And then it wasn't hard. But for a new guy coming in, it was almost impossible. You knew they were going to fail. You know what I mean? It was hard.
But I mean, even in my experience, sometimes all the experience you have days, because I worked a lot. So you didn't work as much as I did.
Never, not even close.
Not even close. So maybe that's why. But I used to work 7 days a week sometimes, right?
Yeah, but 3 and 4 scenes a day you
2, 3, 4 scenes. And not always 4, but, it's 4s here and there.
Right.
I'll take them. I'll take what I can get. I was happy. But you sometimes aren't into the girl. Sometimes you might be tired. Your dick might be rub raw. But I guess if you don't work a lot,
right.
So maybe it's not that bad. But still, you can be on a set where another actor you might not like, and he might not like you, and you want to fight him, you want to kick his ass, right? I mean, I was pretty friendly with a lot of people, but a lot of people were jealous because I was very good, right? And so then you look at him and you say, your blood starts moving, and then he comes down to your scene and watches you in the background.
Hey, wanting you to fail, and you knew he was there wanting you to fail.
Wanting you to fail. And you got a girl that just not your type.
Right.
Has there been girls before that you weren't into?
A lot. Well, yes. Come on. You don't have a choice. You couldn't just say, no, I don't want to work.
Yeah, if you say, no, you don't want to work with this girl, then the director will be like, no, I'm not going to hire this guy because he's a pain in the ass.
Exactly.
And I'll fuck any girl, but pretty much. But I'll say that sometimes you're like, fuck, you really got to use the brain power. I mean, you didn't have situations where you were experienced and then kind of failing.
Right.
Because, it's not easy. It's still not easy.
But you never had bad days. You never had bad days. That's what I don't kind of understand. I mean, we all had bad days. I mean, you know what? Peter North, best pornoster ever. Al had bad days. But you would never have a bad day. That's what was so good.
Well, let's...
I mean, Rocco, too. You and Rocco?
Rocco's great, Come
on.
He's great. Peter North's the best because it's Peter North. He's American and we're American, you know what I mean?
We got to kind of stick with
Rocco is the best. Nacho Vidal's great. Unbelievable.
He came after me, so I'd never seen him perform.
Yeah, they're great, That's, that high level, of greatness. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's it.
That's all there was,
yes.
Even to this day, probably.
But, you go on the set, things cannot work out. So my point is that sometimes maybe I try to hold myself at a high standard. I didn't want to lose. I don't want to be a loser. You know what I mean?
But you know what? You never made any of us feel less of a man. When we worked with you, you never made us feel that way. You knew where you were at. Look, let me be honest with you. All these guys you worked with, they all knew what was up to. They might not say it because of their egos, but they knew. You know what I mean? They knew either they could keep up with you or they couldn't.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It was hard. It's hard, no Viagra. I mean, now there's no passion.
Right.
There's no passion. When, you know, I try to watch some, but the way they shoot porn now is not the way they used to shoot it before. Now you just see the dick a lot of times, right? So it doesn't matter if you shoot up or what, take Viagra, whatever you do. I don't know what they're doing nowadays.
I loved porno. I loved,
Yeah,
but before I got into business, it was just like unreal.
You came in what year?
89. But hold on, let's get to you.
Okay.
Okay, because it's all about you. Okay, Tony Martino. I liked him as an actor, you know what I mean?
That's what after I was 18 years old. Holy shit.
I mean, these were the days, right? So let's go.
Those were the best of the days.
Anyway, how have you been anyways?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Yeah? Really good.
You look good. You look like you're in good shape, looking slim and trim.
Do heated yoga every morning.
Yeah?
Well, not now because we got this little China virus, but before this, yeah, got into yoga.
That's cool. So, all right, so let's get started here. As we know, we just talked. He's a star from the 80s and 90s. You know, you did
2000.
And you did some work in the 2000s?
What, 2004?
2004, okay.
I left in 2004.
So, when you started, it must have been surreal. You know, it must have been unbelievable. What year did you start? How did you get started? And who was the first girl you worked with?
I grew up in Anaheim. Okay. Well, actually, born over there by the Fabulous Farm, Inglewood.
Okay.
Daniel Freeman Hospital.
Off Western.
Off Western. No, Centinela. Daniel Freeman, across from the Forum.
Okay.
And my parents lived in Gardena. About 5, I moved out to Orange County, Huntington Beach. You know, at about 13 years old, I'm going to say 8th grade, I just started looking at girls. I'm like, oh my God, I want to get laid. But, you know, back then, girls, it wasn't like that, right?
It was for me.
What year was that, though?
I mean, you're just a few years older than me.
Wow. Well, it wasn't like that in Orange County. It was
really?
much different. No.
Wow, okay.
So I got a job at a shoe store when I was 13. Okay. My father lived down in the South Bay, and I'd go see him every other weekend. On the way back one time, he'd have a friend of his from church drive me back. He says, I'm going to stop at Standard Shoes. Now, Standard Shoes, when we were growing up.
I remember it.
You remember it?
It was Kenny's and Standards.
Kenny's and Standard. Everyone would go there. She goes,
Kenny's was bigger, but Standard was
right.
still.
There's a standalone store. They weren't a mall, standalone store. And he goes,
Just like Kenny's.
same thing. So I lived across the street from him. He goes, I'm going to stop there on the way home. I'm the vice president. I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. So we go in. He goes, well, you want a job? I was in 8th grade. And in 8th grade, for this year, you couldn't play sports. There was no sports for 8th graders. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I have nothing to do, right? And it was like January. So he takes me in. He goes, hey, I'll let you be a size taker. Now, Phil, I walked in, and I looked around, women everywhere. Everywhere. I was like, this is the goal. He's saying you'll be a size taker. I'm saying I'm going to sell shoes and talk to these women.
Really? Ah!
So
I love it.
A couple weeks go by, right? And I'm watching what all the guys are doing.
How tall were you at this point in time?
In probably almost 5'10", 5'11". I was pretty tall.
Tall enough.
Tall, yeah. I mean, I was tall. No one thought I was 13.
Right.
They thought I was like 18.
But you're tall enough to be able to talk.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 'cause it helps to have a little height. You can't be 5 foot tall. Hey, baby.
No. You didn't know. And I'm watching all the guys schmooze with these women. I'm thinking, this is awesome. I got to, hey, let me sell. He goes, no, you're too young. I said, you know what? Just give me a. So for 2 weeks, I kept asking the manager. Finally, I called Sonny. I said, please, let me just sell one day. Just let me see what happens.
Really? At 13?
At 13.
So you were already outspoken?
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah. Because he said, okay, I'll give you a shot on a Saturday. Give you a shot. The big thing then was anyone could sell one pair of shoes, right? Multiples were the big thing. Like, how many multiples you got? Yeah, I got 2. I got 10. He lets me sell on a Saturday, Phil. First woman, 26 pair of shoes at one time. Next person, 18 pair at one time. Next person, 8 pair. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm running around. I'm having a ball. I'm talking to girls. I'm schmoozing with them.
And so the other guys were selling how many?
Oh, they were not 1 or 2 pairs at a time, maybe 3. If you sold 5 at a time, that was like unbelievable.
Oh, to one person?
To one
5?
person.
I got you. You sold what?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
8, 10, what?
26th pair, the first lady.
No way.
First lady. The guy says beginner's luck.
26 pairs?
26 pairs.
Wow.
I was selling
Congratulations.
I was selling her slippers, just anything, just to keep talking to the girl, right? Because she was hot. So what that did, though, it showed me how to communicate with women. It helped out a lot. You know, working that young, my mom's like, why are you working? You don't have to work. Go have fun. I couldn't say, Mom, I want to meet these girls. How can I talk to women like they aren't my age? So anyway, so that kind of got me going.
That's great. So you're making money now. What kind of commission was that?
I was making great. I would make up. You know, this is back in 1977. So I was probably making $500 a week. Wow. And remember how much that is. And that's because I'm hustling. The other guys wanted to kill me. They're like, one guy I was friends with pulled me aside. He said, "Listen, let me explain something to you. You're just a kid. You're a cocky little kid. We're all here trying to make a living. Whoa. You think this is a candy store." I'm like,
yeah. My father's the fucking big guy, so shut up.
Yeah. It is a candy store, right? So anyway, so we moved from there over to the city of Orange. You know where Anaheim Stadium is?
Hold on. Did you fuck any of the girls there?
I wish. Never.
None?
I tried with the cashiers because they were all high school girls.
You had money and they still
knew
wouldn't?
how old I was.
That doesn't matter. Not where I came from.
Well, they were all over 18.
My father's secretaries were fucking grabbing me and kissing me. And
how old were you? See, I used to try to fuck my babysitters.
Oh, yeah?
The first blowjob I got was from a babysitter.
My first girl was the babysitter's daughter.
You did? And I used to love it when my mom would say, "We're going bowling." Good. Can you get so-and-so to babysit? They go, yeah, sure.
I can't believe you fucking didn't get any of those girls.
You know what? I tried. I got to be honest, I tried. I will say this. When we moved over to Orange, which was, you know, Anaheim Stadium is, you've been to the pond across the way? That was our apartments. The Anaheim pond wasn't there.
I've been there, but I can't remember it so well. I've been there once or twice. You know?
And we moved in the summer. I'm like, okay, I want to go work at this little shoe store at the corner. Now, there I got laid.
How old were you?
15.
Wow.
15.
You had to wait till you're 15?
15.
How fucking crazy. That's
I know.
Terrible.
I know.
I got a lot of pussy. I got pussy when I was 12.
You fucked when you were 12?
Yeah, I fucked a girl for 3 or 4 hours straight. She tapped out. I went and fucked her friend.
What area?
Well, this was Canyon Country area, but I think it's Bouquet Canyon or something like that.
Generous girls.
Nice. The girl was a wet pussy, and I was 12. She was 12.
Oh.
And it was just, I never forget it. You know what I mean? And she was great, and she was just cute. She was a light-skinned black girl, right? And she was just, but she couldn't handle me. And then she sent me over to her friends the next day.
How did you never get pregnant back then?
I don't know. I think that
because we weren't thinking about condoms back then, right?
I think that I probably didn't have good sperm until later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Me and Nacho used to both say, "How the fuck are we gonna get anybody pregnant?" Yeah. Nacho had the same problem, right? We're fucking all these girls and busting nuts, but then something happened. I said, "Oh shit!" When that happened, I said, "Uh-oh, I gotta change my ways."
That's funny.
Like the mentality, you know what I mean?
But yeah, so I you know what? I worked just to be able to talk to girls. You know, and what's funny is later in life, or even in high school, and I finally got laid in. I was probably in. It was a summer after 9th grade, and the girl was a senior. And selling shoes and communicating like that with women, it kind of helped out. You know what I mean? When you got into school and high school, where most of my buddies didn't know how to talk to girls. You know what I mean? They're like, "Dude, talk to them for me." And they're all older than me. They're seniors. I'm like, "What do you mean? Come on, you got to talk to them." But that was just because you're working and, you know, you're trying to sell women's shoes. So,
well, let's kind of break it down for some people that might not understand it, right? As a salesperson, you have to know how to capitalize on their emotions.
Yes.
Right? And so if you have a lot of experience, you can see when they go, nah, right? And you know how to say, "Oh, well," and you do some eyes and some soft talking, and you know, and then you totally know. So you'd know, especially selling shoes for women.
Right.
That's got to be the dream of dreams, because now you know how to capitalize.
And all my buddies are like, "Why are you working in the shoe store?" I go, dude, you're working at McDonald's, okay? How many girls do you talk to a day?
No, but I mean,
They're like, that's right. They're like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, come on, guys.
yeah, but
Catch up.
I don't even think that. Fuck that. Just the education you're learning on the psychology of the women's reactions.
I never understood that. I didn't understand what I was learning when you're learning. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I don't know any better, right?
Yeah, of course.
Even like at the shoe store in Orange, I'm standing out in front, and the two managers walk up Saturday morning. Can you go next door, grab us a cup of coffee? Like any other day. Yeah, sure. I come back. They're nowhere to be found. Like, where are the guys at? Phone rings. It was for the manager. I walk in the back room. I walk around the corner. There's a woman bent over, blowing the assistant manager while the manager's fucking her. And he looks at me and goes, oh, what's up? I'm like, I'm a 15-year-old kid. Like,
Did you like it? If you're like, this
yeah,
is cool.
like, I'm like, what? I couldn't even talk. Dude. I'm like, to the telephone. He goes, no. I'm gonna get the telephone. You come back here. I was like, what? And here's what I say to the girl. Oh, do you know these guys?
Really?
That's what I say to the girl. The woman's like, what? No, I don't know them. I'm like, why? She goes, does it matter? I'm like, no.
Oh, wow, that's
it's
great.
hilarious. Dude, that
Yeah,
was
you know, but here's what people don't understand, the new generation. That porno wasn't everywhere. It was hard to get porno.
yes.
So you don't know what it looks like, two guys on a girl, and you're 15. Now 15-year-olds, oh, I've seen this girl get DP'd, triple anal, everything, right? But back
Never.
then, you don't hardly know what sex looks like.
No clue.
Unless you see the magazines, but even the Hustler had softcore, didn't have hardcore.
I was like, what are you guys both doing at the same time? Because I never seen it. You know,
Right.
there wasn't any porn back then. None.
No, there was porn, but you had to find it.
I had never seen any.
Yeah.
Even before I got in porn, I'd never
Yeah, so
seen
must
it.
have, really? You had magazines, you know, but if you didn't see the Hustler, the Sherry High Society Club,
Beaver Hunt.
Hustler Beaver Hunt.
That was the one I had
You
seen.
see a little bit.
Right.
No, but yeah.
You never
Anyways,
saw fucking anyway.
Right.
So
That's cool. That's exciting. So that must have been,
That
did
was
you get a
a lot
hard
of
on?
yeah. See, the thing when you're young, you don't know any better. You don't know to be nervous, right? I was just excited to have a girl sucking my dick. I was like, what is going on?
What?
I was just happy for this woman to be sucking my cock.
Whoa. So you lost me.
Okay, so he goes out and goes to get the phone. So the assistant manager spins the girl around and says, let her give you head.
Whoa.
I'm like, well, you're fucking her?
Really? Oh, I didn't get that.
That's right. And the woman looks at, and she says, and then she just started going to town. And I know I'm a kid. I just like, God,
Wow.
this is
That's beautiful.
Then he doesn't even finish because there's customers. So he leaves and leaves me with her alone. And I had just had sex for the first time a week before this. Just had for the first time. And it was a little strange. It was fun, but it was
Wow.
it was one of those things you never forget.
Wow, that's exciting. Was she pretty?
Yeah.
She was hot?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, do you know them? Like, why are you doing this? She goes, you know what? I just had a whim. I had a whim, and I saw you guys all standing at the front. I figured, fuck you all you got.
Wow, what a beautiful day.
I'm like, did this really just happen?
Wow.
Anyway.
That's great. That's a beautiful story.
A little interesting, right? You know, because probably 2 weeks before that first time I had sex, because we played summer league basketball it was at Orange High School. And I was just a sophomore, so I didn't have a car or anything. I go to the first game, and I meet this girl at the game. This girl that was there watching, went to Orange High School. She was a senior. And I start talking to her while the varsity game's going on. And I had known one other guy that was on the varsity. So he comes out, we start talking, and she's like, do you want me to give you a ride home? I said to the girl, I'm like, sure. It'd be great. So she gave me a ride home. And the next morning, my mom used to go to work at 6 a.m. She worked for Alpha Beta at the time. You remember Alpha Beta?
I used to go to Alpha Beta all the time.
Were your kids? That's Rouse. Before Rouse was Alpha Beta. So she'd go to work at 6 o'clock. This girl would come over at 6:30, right? I know, like, why you want to come at 6:30? She goes, well, fool around before I'll take you to basketball practice at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Huh?
So she comes upstairs.
Whoa.
So she comes
Really?
So she comes upstairs.
Who was this girl again?
Her name was Cindy Carter.
But why was she?
A girl that I met at the basketball game that went to the high school. that I went through. She was friends with all the other players that were on varsity. So they all knew her, but I didn't know her.
You were a player.
I was a player.
Okay.
So she gives, like I said, she gives her home that night. So the next one she comes over, and she comes to my room, and never had sex before. And I.
What she look like? Give me a description.
Dark hair, big tits.
Really? Nice body?
About 5 foot. Yeah. 5'3".
Hairy pussy?
Dude, hairy and smelly.
But smelly, good smelly.
Never smelled a pussy before.
I like musky pussies.
Never smelled a pussy. I'm eating her pussy like this.
Oh, no! So it wasn't a good smell, or it was...
Years later, no, that's a good smell.
Oh, right, the good musk.
But I didn't know that. I'm a kid like, this pussy stinks. I'm like this.
Really? Wow, because the girl I had a musky pussy. I licked her pussy for an hour before I fucked her.
It was just...
And I loved it.
Yeah, it was just musky.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better.
Okay.
So, wait.
I'm like a werewolf, you know what I mean?
And I didn't realize she was a virgin. I didn't know that. All of a sudden, I got blood. Dude, there's blood everywhere. And I'm like, what? Is this supposed to happen?
That's crazy, man.
She goes, well, this is my first time. My first time.
Wow.
And Phil, I mean, blood to the point where I had to take the sheets, run them, throw them in the washer. We had to scrub my bed mattress so my mom didn't see it. Wow. Come on, you know what that looks like, right?
And she was your age?
She was 2 years older. She was a senior. I was a sophomore. Wow. She was a senior.
So was it, how long did you fuck her for?
Dude, it's unbelievable. It was
great.
It's great. Phil, all we did was fuck the whole summer. That's all I could think about. I could think about two things, basketball and fucking.
Her. And you fucked her all summer?
Dude, we would go to the fields, the football field, and fuck during everywhere.
Whatever. Lay down in the dirt, doesn't matter.
It didn't matter. We'd be in the grass. Didn't matter. I'm getting laid. This is unbelievable. This is a new thing.
How long did you fuck her for the first time?
You know what? I remember it being for a while.
Really?
It wasn't quick. It wasn't, because I was like, I didn't understand you come quick. Later on, I'm getting with really, really hot girls, and I come real quick. I'm thinking, okay, so this is probably how it really is, right? But it was for a while. I mean, and it was the funnest summer.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. That's a great, because you didn't even know her. She just kind of.
I didn't know her. All my buddies knew her. That's why they're like, how did you do this? I'm like, I just started talking to her. And again, that's where the talking comes in.
All right.
They're like, I'm like, we just talked.
I mean,
so
I think was it you that said something one time, or somebody said something about they called you a land shark? Because you're a very smooth talker. And you can talk girls into a lot of things, right?
Are we allowed to say that nowadays? Yeah. We get arrested.
You can talk.
I think we get me too'd. We get me too'd for that nowadays.
You can talk a lot of girls into a lot of things.
Anyway,
I always thought.
So that's all I could think about the whole summer. That's even going back to school, and then my mom moved out to Palm Desert. So I'm out in Palm Desert, bro. Before Palm Desert was Palm Desert, there was Rancho Las Palmas, and there was where I live, Palm Desert Greens. That's all that was in Palm Desert. So I had to go to Indio High School. Now, Indio High School, I'm from Orange County. It's all white, right, bro? It's all white. I get to school, and I look around, I'm like...
It's all Latin.
Dude, it's all black and Mexican, mostly black. I'm thinking, holy shit, what is going to happen here? Right?
And you're not a fighter, you're a nice guy, right?
No.
How many fights you had by that time?
I've been in one fight my whole life.
Oh my God. Well, you're a talker, yeah. Right. I used to chase you around when we were roommates.
You made sure no one kicked my ass. You were always very protective, you know. You might do it, but you wouldn't want to let anyone else do it, right? Anyway, so it was a little culture shock, right? But I'm looking around thinking to myself, there's all these white girls, and I'm one of the only white guys here. This might work out pretty good for me.
Oh, yeah. And there's nothing to do in those desert places but fuck.
The thing about it is we moved there right around Thanksgiving when basketball season started. Mm-hmm. So because I was so good in sports, I was able to play varsity. Okay, so when I go in, the first day I get to school, it's basketball, right? So they're like, okay, do you mind playing varsity? Well, they're all black, right? My best friends are black. They call us the Oreo cookie. He had a little mini truck playing a Rapper's Delight every other minute.
Oh, in Orange County?
No, in Indio.
In Indio?
It's Indio High School. So it's two black guys and me in the middle for years, for the whole time I went to school there. But I got lucky because, it was all the brothers on the basketball team. So they were cool to me. And they made sure no one fucked with me. So, I mean, it kind of...
Yeah, because the Mexicans get kind of tough sometimes.
They were really tough.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize what I was walking into. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, same as Orange County. No. But, what it did is it helped later in life. You know what I mean? Be able to deal with the world and not just deal with white people. You could deal with all races. I never had a problem with, we're all the same. We're all the same, man. You know what I mean? We're all equal, all the same. But back then it was different. I mean, this is 79. So.
Yeah, things are way different back then. I mean,
But there was nothing to do there but fuck and play basketball and baseball. And that's it.
You think it's true that if you have, if you're a varsity and you have a Letterman's jacket or a Letterman, because I always thought this, right? Because I was just I was just working. I always worked. I didn't get the chance to do anything but work.
Right.
So I didn't go do sports. I could wrestle. So I did wrestling and they kicked me out because my grades were bad, but I used to have to go 2 levels up, 2 weight classes up to do wrestling because I was too strong for my own guys. The coach got pissed off.
Right.
I'd just take them and throw them, right?
Did you end up wrestling in high school?
No, they threw me out because the coach didn't like me, A.
Right.
And B, I got bad grades. They threw me out. They were happy to throw me out, too. But if you got a guy that can take your best guys and throw them like flies and smash them or whatever, then why don't you want them? But anyways.
That was the thing back then. The only reason I got such good grades was because I knew if I didn't, I couldn't get girls and I couldn't play sports. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got good grades.
So you think having a Letterman's jacket gets you free pussy pass?
100%.
Right? I was thinking that.
1,000,000%.
Right? Yeah.
I will say this. First basketball game, I had a girlfriend right away, white girl. And I could see her up in the bleachers sitting next to a guy, his name was Robert Adams, the baddest black dude in the entire school. Huge football player. I mean, at this time, 6'2", 240.
High school.
High school.
Shredded.
Big black dude. Great. I mean, great. He's sitting next to her. I look up.
Oh, shit.
They disappear at halftime.
Really? All right. I love it.
Later on I find out he took her out to the football field.
Really? Wow, that's great.
I'm thinking, oh my God. There's no loyalty here. I could see this already. You know what I mean? But he didn't know me.
Oh, so that was...
He went and fucked her.
That was your girl?
My girl.
Oh, whoa.
Girl I just started going out with. And I'm like...
Really? And she went out there?
And she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, look, I know what you did. So I just...
Oh, really? You got rid of her?
Yeah, come on.
Why did you keep her? I was kidding.
And I couldn't say nothing to him. I couldn't say nothing to him. Come on, you're gonna fucking kill me, right? That's the last thing I'd say. I was like, oh, you're good. It's a bummer because it's a bummer.
Especially if you liked her.
It's hard. You know what? At that age, do you really know what you like? You just like any night, right?
I had a girlfriend. I was in love with her. I was 16. No, I was 16. Yeah, I was in love with this girl.
Really?
Yeah, I was totally in love with this girl.
Same girl all through school?
Well, they threw me out of school, you know what I mean? But I still was with her until like 17 and a half.
Those were the days.
I was crazy about
Those
her.
were the days, right?
I was really crazy about her.
It's not like that nowadays. Totally different.
Really,
Totally
people don't have the connection with each other, I don't think.
No.
But anyways, keep going.
Anyway, so that was a whole different experience. But again, there was nothing there but sports and girls. So. And thank God I never got anyone pregnant because that would have been not good.
So how'd you get in the business?
So what happened now is I'm going into my senior year, and I wanted to go to UCLA to play baseball.
So you're really good at sports?
Really good at sports.
So
really good at sports.
Top in the area, or one of the top? Obviously.
When I was in Indio, well, it was Palm Desert, I was probably, and again, these are black dudes that were really pretty talented guys, but they weren't coordinated the same way, but they could do things that I couldn't do. But still, like in baseball, I was in 9th grade and 10th grade playing the varsity team, and I pitched. So I'm like, Mom, I got to get out of here because I'm going to go nowhere in the desert.
There's nothing there. At that point in time, the population is, how big is the population?
Bill, there was 2 places to live in Palm Desert. Now you see Palm Desert, it's huge. Nothing.
We used to go to Palm Springs when I was younger, about 85, go cruising Palm Springs. It got happening. But Indio
Palm Canyon.
The strip, right?
Yeah.
The one strip. But it was outside is Indio, which is at that point in time, what is the population?
Well, not much, because if you lived in Palm Desert, you go to Indio or Palm Springs, one of the two. They were both the same.
What was the population? 10,000 people? 100,000?
Maybe.
10,000?
Maybe.
10,000?
Maybe 10,000 in Palm Desert. There was nowhere to live. You know what I mean? You lived in Indio or you lived in Palm Springs. You didn't live in Palm Desert. Too new. So I said, I got to get out of here, right? So my grandparents lived
Hot out there. Oh, I was in Victorville, close by.
Same thing.
Working at a truck shop.
Okay, so you're in the high desert, I'm in the low desert. I'm just down the freeway from you. So I said, I got to get out of here. I got to get down to Orange County. And my grandparents lived right by Fountain Valley High School. And so going into my senior year, I had a scholarship set up to go to UCLA and go play baseball.
So what? Full ride scholarship?
Full ride. Everything.
You were doing good in school too then?
Straight A's.
Straight A's.
Straight A's my whole life.
What nationality? What nationality? I'm guessing you're
Italian.
Italian. Yeah. Your last name, Agazzino?
Agazzino. So what happens here is January, February, March. In March, right? Baseball season is just starting. I leave for lunch with my girlfriend. I get in a car accident. Someone hits me coming off the freeway. I end up in the trauma unit. I was in a coma for a week.
Whoa! Are you fucking serious?
Broke my collarbone. This side of my face, you can see the marks here. I had 180 stitches. My face was peeled open, and the whole windshield was in my face.
God.
Right? So my arm was broken, broke my collarbone, concussion, didn't know where I was at, out for a week. I wake up to my mom above me, right? My girlfriend.
In a coma.
Coma. My girlfriend, same thing. She's in the passenger seat. Right? She's in a coma. She had to have her spleen removed. Yeah, heavy duty. And I'm thinking, what happened? So someone had, in the old days, when you made a left-hand turn, the turn signal wasn't up there. It was right here on the island, right? I'm coming this way. I took the island out. The whole light took the thing out. The lady come off the freeway going 60, hit me, coming this way, and I'm going this way, and she's this way and hits me. She has no insurance, drunk. Yeah. So when I went to collect money at the end, I had to collect it a different way because she was, no insurance. But anyway, so because of that happened is I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play baseball. It was over. It was like that. And I'm like, well, you can't do anything. It's like June. Now it's June. I'm in a brace. Still can't do anything. And like, well, we can't give you, you can't come here. Can't play, right? So I missed my whole senior year. It's a bummer.
So it happened at the beginning of the senior year?
Happened in January, February, March. 1st of March. So baseball is just
of your senior year?
Senior year.
So you're almost out of school anyway, but baseball season goes? I don't know.
Baseball season starts right about March. Okay. March, April, May.
Goes until the end of summer?
March, April, May, right before school ends. You stop before school. It was a school team.
Oh, okay.
It was a high school team. Oh. So I couldn't play. I couldn't do anything. So it's like kind of a life-changing thing, right?
What are you going through in your head psychologically? Dude, what are you thinking?
I was just like, my grandparents were trying to explain to me, this is the world. This is how it works. Nothing's for sure. I'm like, I'm getting ready to go. My dream to go to UCLA. I've worked all these years to get good grades. You know what I mean? And do the right thing. Trying to, sure, as a screw up, just because I would talk too much or try to, you know what I mean? Just be.
You got straight A's.
Yeah, but still, if I disruptive in class, I'm terrible in citizenship. You talk too much. Stop talking to the girls in class.
But you had straight A's.
Straight A's. But back then, Phil.
You're the best athlete.
School wasn't hard. School wasn't hard then. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say during my whole school, I don't think I ever did one out of homework. Not one. No. I had a great childhood. You know what I mean? I had great parents. I got lucky. Yeah. I'm fortunate because now I read kids are molested, especially in porn. The stories I hear are horrible. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go through that. I was lucky, very lucky. The only thing I got in trouble for is trying to fuck all the girls in my townhouse community. My mom, they had a community pool. You'll love this story. They had a community pool, right? And the townhouses were in a square. In the middle is the pool. A lot of good-looking girls, 9th grade, 10th grade. And I'd go out to the pool where the jacuzzi was, a pool room, so I'd play pool. I'd look for the girls. I'd get in the jacuzzi with them. I'd try to fuck them in the jacuzzi. And then I was able to.
Really? Just girls you didn't know?
Live in the complex. It was different back then.
I know.
Girls you're right. Hey, girls liked sex back then. You know what I mean?
Loved it, yeah.
I mean, we were all the same. It was,
right.
hey, they weren't doing nothing against their will. They were like, they were older.
You know what? No. Doesn't matter. They were looking
Yes.
for somebody to have sex with them.
100%.
Somebody with balls.
They just wanted, yeah. You know what? Looking back at it, yeah. So I'm out there trying to do this, right? Trying to get over with girls. And I go away to camp. My mom picks me up from camp. She says, "You little motherfucker." I said, "What did I do?" She said, "I've been talking to those girls by the pool. They tell me, they all thought you were 18. I'm like, "Yeah, so? You can't be having sex with this girl. You're trying to fuck all these girls." I'm like,
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So how many did you fuck in jacuzzi?
oh my God.
How many?
My God. Phil, every night we would go out there. After I got laid the first time, we would go every single night in the summertime. I go out there, I play pool, and then wait till the girls go in the jacuzzi, and I go in the jacuzzi. And you start hooking up with them.
Talking, kissing.
Yeah, just having fun.
Couple kisses, and then everybody.
Good to go.
You know what?
Different time.
You know what? It's a heartbreak when you think about it, because I don't think those times will come back. I don't think.
Never. Well, now everything's rape. I'm like, wait. You're gonna tell that guy raped you 20 years ago? I don't understand that. But anyway, so that used to be. My mom wasn't really happy with me. But what are you gonna do?
I mean, so
What would you have been doing? And and these girls, all these girls were like 18, 19, 20, 21. And my mom was like, "They're older than you. That girl's 24. I'm like,
wow, that's cool.
I'm like, so what, Mom?
Well,
It's good.
if I had been in the same situation with your education of speaking with women,
Right.
I would have had a lot more pussy when I was younger, because a lot of girls were coming on to me, and I was a little bit nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit nervous, but had I give it to them, they love me, because I'll go for 8 hours straight, 10 hours, but I was nervous to do what they want me to do. I swear to you. So many girls wanted me to kiss them and fuck them, and I was like, wow.
I know.
That's today it still haunts me.
Really?
It haunts me like crazy. Like, that girl was so pretty, and she came over to my house. I was like, "Hey, I'm here." And I'm like,
How old were you?
all ages, from 12 to 17 or 16, right? No, because I left 16, 17. I mean, even when I'm 20 or 18 or 19, there were some girls that were coming on to me, and I was like, "Ugh." Maybe I think they're too pretty or something. You know what I mean? Like,
we all. Believe me, I probably sounded like a geek back then. I was doing the same exact thing. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
No, I know what to do, but I'm like,
but she's so hot.
She's so pretty, right? Yeah.
I would do better if they weren't as attractive. You know what I mean? Because when they were attractive, really attractive, I'm like, I get nervous, Yeah. But I'm thinking I never realized it was because I had been working and talking, and I didn't know any better, but it helped. Anyway.
oh, huge. So
anyway, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? It's my senior year. I just graduated, and now there's no college. I just now get a settlement from the car accident.
How much?
$75,000.
which is a good amount back then,
Dude,
but not for your.
This is 1982.
Right.
Come on, I mean,
Probably like 150, 200,000 now. Probably, I guess.
at least,
Yeah.
because you can get a lot for your money.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I got this fake ID. I'm going to go to this club over here. Back then, wet t-shirt contests and foxy boxing and mud wrestling were the big things at the nightclubs.
Yeah, I remember the mud wrestling. They would
Hollywood
broadcast.
Tropicana.
They would broadcast it sometimes on TV once in a great while.
That was the Hollywood Tropicana.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm thinking, I went to this club down the street called Ichabod's on Beach Boulevard, and Peter North will know the club. He's been there. So I go in, it's a wet t-shirt contest. I ended up being friends with the guy, the MC.
How old are you?
I am 18. 18. Okay. Fake ID. I didn't drink. I wasn't a drinker. I don't think I had ever drank alcohol yet. Definitely hadn't done drugs yet. Nothing.
You're not a drinker anyway.
I wasn't
right?
a drinker. I never been a drinker, but I would drink then just to talk to girls.
Right.
Or act like I was drinking.
Act like you drink. Yeah, I didn't like the way it tastes.
Hated it.
Tastes like shit.
Hated it. Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't like that. It tastes like shit.
I would only drink to come down from Coke.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, right.
You don't want to be all high, later on. Anyway, so I see this girl in the wet t-shirt contest. Her name's Bernie. Bernie is her name. And I had just been able to buy a nice brand new Toyota Supra. That was like the big car back then.
I liked them. I thought they were cool looking.
That was like the big car in 82, right? And obviously, now what I know about women now, she saw that I had money because I had all this money from just this accident.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you look like you have money if you have money because you don't know any better, right? I mean, you're dressing nice, driving a nice car.
Let's think about this real quickly. Maybe in certain areas in California has money, because Orange County had money,
Right.
Beverly Hills had money,
Right.
New York, Manhattan had money, you know what I mean? But what other states and little cities did kids and families really have money?
They didn't. Where you grew up in the desert out here?
No, you didn't have money.
Dude, I used to work at Pegasus in Victorville, and there was
No, there's no money.
the money out there.
People didn't have money. If you have money, you
hard.
have enough just to buy a shit car if you're lucky. And let's think about this. The amount of cars available to buy,
Different.
there's not that many cars out there.
That's what I'm saying. A Toyota Supra was like, wow.
And not that many kids had cars.
No one did. If you had rich parents, you would have that.
Yeah.
But that was like one of the best cars you could. Anyway, so I see this girl. I'm like, I got to hook up with this girl. So we start talking, and I end up going to a hotel with her.
Her name's Bernie?
Bernadette.
Bernadette.
She's probably only 21, 22 at the time. She's just young, cute little girl, big fake tits.
Fake tits.
I become friends with the MC because they're really good friends, right? So we go on double dates and hang out. Turns out, he says to me, I'm starting this male strip thing, like a Chippendale show down here at the corner at a place called the Stockyard in Huntington Beach, Beach Boulevard, right by the beach. And he goes, you want to come and be a waiter? I said, I fucking love to.
don't say pussy around here, around you.
Let me think about it. That sounds beautiful. He goes, I can't let you dance because you don't know how to. You're so young, blah, 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 right? So we're going to go through the same standard shoes thing again to get to that. Because as a waiter, the first couple of weeks, I'm like, this is great. Making money, talking to girls. Girls are there to have sex, okay? So if you're a dancer, you're getting laid, period. So I talk him into letting me dance. Dude, let me dance. You're just a kid. Finds lets me dance, and it's great. The thing about it back then, everyone was older. All the other guys were 27 and above, and I'm 18. So for girls, not all girls like older guys, even though a lot of them did. And I couldn't understand it, but now I get it. I'm like, why do you like all the old guys? But they, girls like older guys, a lot of girls.
Experience, money.
All the above, right?
Yeah.
Right? So,
But they like young guys too.
well, that's what they found out. And so he goes, dude, you did great. So I went and I did, the act I did to start off was Donny Osmond.
Because you look like Donny Osmond a little bit.
Donny Osmond
back
then was huge. All the little girls loved him. So I come out lip syncing Puppy Love. Embarrassing now, but back then it worked.
I thought Donny Osmond was cool.
It worked back then. So he ended up, I was like, God, there's got to be more of these shows because he only had one show, right? And I'm thinking, how can I do more of these? I like this, right?
Did you get some pussy?
Oh my God, every single show, every show.
Really?
Every show.
Because Mark Davis was sure, he got crazy. You heard his interview,
I'll let
right?
you know the Mark Davis situation. I met up with Mark Davis at Chippendales.
Oh, yeah?
I have a story how him and I met. Anyway, so I think, how can I do this more often, right? And at that time, a place called the Red Onion.
I know the Red Onion.
Peter North and I used to go to the Red Onion and a place called the Black Angus is where we go to pick up girls.
Red Onion was a place, even in Burbank, Red Onion was happening, right? It was happening.
Over there by the Holiday Inn. There's
Wherever,
one by
yeah.
the Holiday Inn. And there was a Peter's Landing in Huntington Beach, Red Onion. And on Wednesday night, they'd have a hot bod contest. So you go and dance and take your shirt off.
Because I did some of the hot bod contest.
You're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I would go do those to try to meet girls, right? I mean, why not? So one of the guys I met there, his name was John Lynch, friend of Mark Davis's, worked at Chippendales at the time. And I didn't know this. He says, dude, I'm going to Chippendales tomorrow. You want to come and check it out? I said, come on, I'd love to. You can get in? He goes, no, it's a club after the show. They let all the guys in, and you got 300 horny girls. I mean, Phil, beautiful girls. This is like it's in Venice, but like Venice and Overland. So like the Palms area.
Can we just talk about that 1 second? about the freedom of the woman's spirit back then. I mean, loving men. I mean,
Loved men.
Loved
But
men.
men loved women.
Love women.
Dude,
adored, worshipped.
So kind to them. These domestic violence.
Worshipped.
That never happened back then because we just loved
I mean, it happened,
them.
but not so much. But I worshipped women.
Oh,
I just like, look at, oh my God.
Yes.
If only I could talk to you.
Right.
Or kiss you.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yes. Yes.
Right, yeah, because we loved, but women loved men. It was a close
mutual
love,
thing. And it was
300 of them.
It was fun, Phil. So before that even took place, I go to the club, I check it out. And I said, hey, John, is there any other groups out here that work at the different clubs that I know are popular? He said, yeah, let me hook you up with one. His name was Mark Levy, and there was two groups called Mantastic 80s was one, and Manpower, which Tony Montana, years later, worked in Manpower. This is some years. This is about,
How'd he do? Because he said he fucked a lot of girls too.
I don't know, I mean...
Okay, that's all you gonna say? Yeah.
Julio Gutierrez.
Gonzalez. I think so.
I mean,
Gutierrez, whatever.
I think he met his little girlfriend at a strip club in New Jersey that I was with him at. Was it Blondie?
Whoa, you were with Blondie?
Was her name Blondie?
Yeah.
Blondie, right?
The fattest pussy, one of the fattest pussies I ever saw in my life.
We were at a road show years later. This is years later with Tony Montana. He met her at this show. I didn't fuck her. I didn't. He did. He hooked up with her.
Right.
But I was there. I was in the show with him, and that's where he met her at. That was years ago. Anyway, so I said, hook me up with one of these other groups. Goes,
so you can be part of the group.
So I can go work at more nights. You know, I want to just work one night. I loved it. That's fucking great.
How many girls a night were you fucking? 1, 2, 3?
At least one every night.
But what's the most you ever fucked?
4.
4?
4.
That's beautiful.
Well, what happened was we used to do a club called Goodies. Goodies. It was by the Cal State Fullerton in Fullerton. So I go out there and the guy says, okay, well, the first night you got to dance for free to try out.
Yeah, makes sense.
He goes, I'm going to tell you right now, you're just a kid. You're a kid.
How old are you right now?
18.
18. So still in the alcohol club, so you're kind of like fake ID.
Fake ID. And I didn't drink. I didn't drink anyway.
Who gives a fuck?
I didn't want to
Nobody gave a fuck.
No, they didn't. But I was underage, and I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. I didn't want to get caught and be like, you're drinking, so we can't have you. Because years later, I got caught when I was still underage, but I wasn't drinking. So they were cool to me.
What year was this?
84.
84.
Sorry, 60, 73, 81, 82, 82, 83. 82, 83. So I try out for him, and he goes, I'm going to already tell you right now, you're too young. You're just a boy. And these girls like men. And I'm like, I got you fucking men, bro. Because after the show, and you know what? Hey, dude, these guys, way better than me. Way better. I mean,
dancers,
dude,
buff, crazy.
Buff. They're men. I mean, come on. They're good-looking dudes, right? And I'm like, but half the job was after the show, you had to go out in the audience and mingle with them and talk to them so they come back the next week, right? I mean, you don't want them to come one time. You want them to show up every week. So you got to know how to schmooze with them afterward. So that's where it came into play. Where I go in there,
land shark.
I could go out and talk to him, and the guy's like, "Okay." I go, "I tell you what. If I'm so young, you let me go work for you for 1 week, and I'll do it for free. And then at the end of the week, you decide." So the first Monday was out in Anaheim or Fullerton. Tuesday was in Palm Springs at Zelda's back in the day. You remember Zelda's?
I remember.
Right on Palm Canyon.
Vaguely.
Right on Palm Canyon.
I'm younger than you know what I mean? So I wasn't really doing anything until about 85.
It was there. It was right across from the Spa Hotel. Talkowicz McAllen, right in the middle of town. So you go out there on Tuesday night. Then Wednesday, you go to Victorville. It was a Mexican club. Later, it was Pegasus.
I went to Pegasus before.
Before Pegasus, it was another club that was Pegasus before Pegasus. You were really young back then. So.
Yeah, probably. I used to go to Club Metro. I did a hot body contest there.
Hey, that was Thursday nights, bro. But before Club
Saturday nights, right?
No, what happened was that was Tuesday. Wednesday we'd go to Victorville. Thursday we'd go to a place before Metro was there. The owner, Al, owned Palomino Station. That's what it was called before it was Club Metro. Then they moved from that to Club Metro. And then we'd go work there on Thursday nights. We did shows there. So that was the club, dude. 300 girls every Thursday night. And they all wanted to have sex. And what they would do is, and you couldn't have contact, so they would throw the dollars to you and you catch them in your brief and they get a ticket. And at the end of the show, you go in the back room where the restaurant was and they close it off. All the girls who had tickets and the guys who were dancers go back there and collect the tickets, and you'd have to make out with the girls for hours. It'd take a couple hours because there's 300 girls. So a lot of them would tip you, and you'd run out to the car. The owner had a van. And like I said, and this is a different day, and the girls were into it. You know what I mean? They like sex.
It breaks my heart, to hear that those days will never be. It breaks my heart, but that is beautiful.
Those were the days, man. Beautiful. So we go back there, and it would be just only us. And a guy named Francois Papillon.
Yeah, right. He was a stripper too, huh?
French guy, shredded. Started dancing with our group.
I thought when I listened to him in the movies, he seemed like he might have been a really cool guy.
Very cool. Okay, back then, the French guys weren't really friendly. What's the guy's name you had on?
Oh, yeah, Manuel.
They didn't act like that. That guy's cool.
Yeah.
They weren't like that. So Francois was cool, and there was a club called...
But he wasn't that cool.
He wasn't that cool.
Okay.
I mean, they're to themselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can understand that. Great body, great looking guy, great costumes.
Small dick.
Small little dick. And you know what? For as good looking as he was, and great body, he didn't do all that great because you have to be able to communicate with the audience. And
he was stiff.
And he was a little hard for him because he was new, right? He was new.
He was my height or taller?
You're right.
My height. I thought he was like short.
Little bit, yeah, about your height. Yeah. Great body. On Thursday nights, on Friday nights, Saturday, there's a club called Sunshine in Long Beach.
Well, hold on. Was he a good performer or shitty?
Who?
Francois.
Very good.
He was?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
All right.
Hard all the time.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay.
He wasn't in it that long after that. He left a little while after that.
Yeah, that girl Kasha.
Before that, it was Karen Summers. Karen Summers. She was actually in the first scene I did.
Okay.
So I start doing the Sunshine thing on Friday and Saturday, and guess who shows up? John Stagliano.
Really? Because he's a fucking dancer, and his head named Romeo something. What was his stage name?
No, use his real name, Romeo. I forget what last name he used.
He had a fucking name, Romeo.
Count Dracula. He used to do Count Dracula, though. That was his act.
John Stagliano, the butt man, evil angel, one of the most successful porno company owners in, I don't know, almost like an inventor, right? But,
this is years before.
A visionary. You're right, way
he didn't
before.
even think about, he was a cameraman and a director.
But he worked.
And he was in the movies, too.
He was in some movies.
Right.
Shitty performer, though, right?
I never worked with him.
Okay.
So
I think he was shitty.
I'm dancing with him. We're talking, and he's like, "Wow, dude, you're awful young." Huh? I go, "Dude, I heard you do porn."
What?
I'm like, "Dude, do you really do porn?" Because I heard you do porn.
Huh?
He goes, "Yeah."
He's a nice guy.
Super nice guy. Yeah. Super nice guy. So I'm gonna say.
So he did porn. Then I know he did. Marcy Hurst told me he did porn.
Scenes.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he did scenes. This is when he was doing scenes, but he was like graduating to directing, cameraman, that kind of stuff.
Because you know what happens why you graduate usually.
Yeah, I know.
Usually because you're a shitty performer. I don't want to talk shit. He's a visionary, unbelievable, a real sex guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think there was that much money because video had just started. Just started. It was brand new. No one. So about a month later, he calls me and says, "Hey, do you want to come and do a strip private party thing in a porn movie with you and Francois? And you'll have 3 girls and he'll have 3 girls." On the phone. I'm like,
"You're like, pussy?"
I'm like, and
who are you talking to?
I didn't even think my parents, my dad, but back then, you couldn't watch porn, so I thought it was pretty safe. No one would know, right?
You really got to be an enthusist, yeah.
Little as I know. Everyone fucking finds out and then ruins your life. Anyway, so
is your family religious?
My father is a pastor of a Christian church called Hope Chapel in Redondo Beach.
Wow.
Right? And we're close, we're tight, you know what I mean? But as a kid, you're just not thinking, you know what I mean? I was. Anyway, after everything that just happened, I was like,
fuck it.
I was like, I just want to have fun, right? So I'm like, John says, I'll pay you $250. Come and do a scene. And you'll do it.
Dancing or fuck?
You'll do, I was doing a Boy Scout back then. I came in like a little Boy Scout with my hair. Back then, you got a big mullet, like Billy Ray Cyrus hair. Dude. That was the style back then. So it's all tucked up in a hat.
You still got hair, so your hair was good. You had good hair, didn't you?
Yeah, I had good hair. It was just all tucked up in a hat. I had glasses on. I come in like a nerd. Now
you agreed on a sex scene?
He said, one scene, I'll pay you. You'll do the striptease.
Striptease.
And then you have sex. I'm like, okay. I never even thought, can I do it? It never crossed my mind, right?
How many girls? Because you were already doing strip. How many girls had you fucked by this time? And how old were you?
I was doing, it was in 84. So I just turned 20. 19. I was 19, excuse me, I was 19. I was 19. And I thought, yeah, okay, great, I'll do this.
How many girls did you fuck, you think?
Hundreds.
Hundreds already?
I had worked stripping for a year in this group every night. Wow. Every night you're getting laid at least once. Yeah. At least once. Or you bring girls in the back during the show and you'd have sex.
So hundreds.
But we had one rule. We had one rule back then. No girl could ever come back there if they were drunk. That was the one thing we all agreed on because, you know, we didn't want them to be looked at like, oh, she was drunk. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. It was about everyone having fun, right? So I'd already, you know, pretty much had my way because it's not hard. I mean, if you're dancing, it doesn't matter what you look like. You know what I mean? I mean, I didn't compare to the other guys. Believe me, these dudes were monsters, right? I mean, I wasn't as good looking. My body wasn't as good.
The girls were going crazy for those guys?
Crazy, but they also like young guys too. So I just kind of I was lucky there was no other young guys, right? That makes sense.
I mean, let's face the facts. At a young age, takes a special personality, especially back then, because people are a little more subtle and a little more shy, I think, you know what I mean? And so you had an outgoing personality and able to do something like that. It's not easy.
Yeah. No. It's hard to get laid. Even when Peter North and I used to go out, he's like, dude, please just start. And he was great, but I would have to talk, and then they look at him, and like, okay.
Really?
We'll go. Hey, he'll even...
Listen, we call Peter North real quick. We don't want to lose that subject. Let's see if we can get him on the phone.
He will remember the nights at the Red Onion.
So you guys used to pick up a lot of girls.
We picked up girls. And you know what's funny? We go to the sets after having sex at night.
Somebody told me that he told me you fuck girls together.
All the time.
Huh?
All
Three
the time.
ways?
All the time.
Yo.
Hey, what's happening?
What's going on?
I'm here with guess who? Tony Martino.
What's up, bro?
Not too much. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Bro, I just moved right out by you, so I gotta find out where you're at. I just moved out to Irvine Spectrum area.
I'm not that far away, actually.
Right, I figured you were out there. How you doing, man?
Always Orange County.
I'm just talking to Phil about the old days when we would go to the Red Onion and we go to Black Angus to pick up girls.
Oh yeah.
You guys.
Red Onion were the good days. Like I said before, I told Phil this that the 80s and 90s, you can't beat them.
Nothing like it, huh, bro? Remember the Apple Apartments?
Yeah. Yeah, I was after one of the girls that was working in there, and she said she couldn't date anybody that was living there. So not too long after, I moved out of there, and we went on lunch date, but all the girls in the office kind of had saw some kind of magazine. That's why I didn't like doing magazines, because you can easily see something in that.
I remember
video or DVD, whatever.
I remember you were in love with this girl, and she found out you did porn. Remember, she came to your door and was like, "What's this?" Remember that out?
Hold on, let everybody know this is Peter North on the phone. Peter North.
I did have an opportunity to hook up with her, and I kind of fucked that up. But she comes walking. She just walks by, and I think I had a suit on or something like that, and with a girlfriend or something like that. She said something like, you got the most beautiful cock. I'm like, holy fuck! And I never hooked up with that girl. Oh my! And she would have been so fun.
Dude, you remember when all that went down because you didn't want to do magazines anymore. You didn't want to work, period, after that. You were like, fuck this.
I was trying to go in stealth, you know?
Right. Hey, you figured if you stayed out there in the Lake Forest area, then no one would know who you were. Wrong.
Yeah, undercover, I had like be on a date and with say a girl I was going out with, and all these people come up to me or here or there, just come up to me and just give a compliment or whatever, and she goes, "You're really popular."
Dude, you can't expect to be the biggest porn star in the world and not have people know who you are, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
It was kind of like I was trying to be in denial, and it wasn't happening. You know? So.
No, you tried.
Yeah.
Come on, Al. You told me about that one spot in your closet that had one wardrobe, one area for your wardrobe, old porno wardrobe. So you always wore the same stuff, right?
Right. Hey,
that's an old porno.
Hey, Al.
Well, we were up on the style. I mean,
right.
Tony will tell you that we were up on the style, and remember the Guess jeans with the leather patches and
dude,
stuff.
we had Guess jeans, Guess shirts. Remember we went to
and we were up on the style, but the thing I remember. Tony and I we'd be out of clubs, and I think probably about 5 different times we ended up in a three-way with a pretty
hey, and I try to tell Phil, we would go to work, like we would fuck from the clubs, and then we'd go to work, and Tom Byron and Mark Goldberg, they'd be hard as a rock, ready to go, and me and Al would be looking at each other like, hold on, give us a second here. We've been fucking all night. And Al would be like, hey, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. They don't go out and get laid at night. Okay, so they're ahead of us. Remember that?
They're not getting any pussy, no way, huh?
Hey, listen. Al had one girl back then that was in love with him. In love.
Really?
Candy Evans.
Oh, Candy Evans, man.
She
was in love with Al?
In love with her. We did a shoot, and I think he says he met her.
I love Candy Evans.
He says he met her on a photo shoot, but this seemed like the first.
Jim had her do her first photo shoot, she didn't do video that right away, but her first photo shoot was with me because Jim knows I would be not coming on to her. I'd be, relaxed, and it'd be easy and chill and make her feel comfortable and all that kind of stuff. We were making out after this photo shoot outside the building. It was, it was
the
great.
first time I ever see them. We're driving down, him and I drive down from Huntington Beach, and we're working for Mark Carrier. Ron Jeremy is directing the movie. So Al and I are driving down. He goes, wait till you see this girl. It's going to be on the set today. He's working with her, and I'm working with Barbara Dare. Before Barbara Dare was Barbara Dare. Remember this, Al? We were down in Point Doom. He walks in. This girl's phenomenal. And he just starts making out with the girl.
Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so fine. Hard body.
He walks in, just starts making out with her.
Hard body, fat pussy. But the pussy looked good. How was the pussy?
It was great. And she ended up marrying later on one of the original American Gladiators for a short time.
Hey, Al, do you know that her boyfriend back again, I ended up working with him at Chippendales. His name was Rob. And
okay.
Super cool.
I think he had a brother or something like that.
Philippe, his brother Philippe and Rob both worked. They were twins, but looked just like you. He looked just like Al, the guy.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
So you guys had a lot of good times, huh? How many scenes do you think you did with Tony? How many three-ways for the movies?
I don't really think it's as much. I mean, we've been on sets together, maybe doing different scenes or something like that. But
it didn't work that way. It didn't work that way back then. I'm going to tell Phil, when they casted a movie back then, they would cast the young kid, which was either me or Tom Byron, and then you had the different level, which was Al, Mark, Steve Nadel, Steve Drake, right, Al? These guys, right? And then you had Jamie Gillis, Paul Thomas, all the major guys. So that's how they cast movies. So you didn't do three-ways all the time. But I would have to say like 70, 80% of the movies I was in, I was on the same set. Okay. Yeah, right, Al? Wouldn't you say it? I mean, most people would hire us. We were friends, so most people would hire us together. You know what I mean? Because we'd be funny. So we...
Yeah, usually it's like a character in a script that they have this person is portray type of thing, and well, it kind of played in later on too, Phil. You know this as well, that that the character in one script may be another character in another movie, and you're working with the same person like 15 times.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know that we must have played brothers 100 times, right?
Yeah, a lot.
We played a lot of brothers because we both had dark hair and we looked similar back in those days. Hey, Al, he was asking me how was the first time I saw you. You know that I was doing, I don't know if you know this or not, I was doing my second scene. I went to meet Drea. Drea used to be married to Bill Margold. Remember her short blonde hair?
Yeah.
And she told me, okay, get ready so I can take a picture. And I looked down and it's your 8x10 sitting there with the 4 pictures in the corners. Do you remember this with the cuffs and collars, the Chippendales cuffs and collars?
Yeah.
And I had seen you at my gym before that. And I'm like, I know this dude. I know this dude in this picture. Oh, he's from my gym. It was the place Nautilus Plus over there on Warner.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's funny because I actually was telling someone I thought I was in shape back in the day, but as I look at some of the movies I did, I was just kind of like a little bit toned and not really that much muscle on me. I didn't really start getting in shape until
he's being. You're being humble, bro. He was a great dude. You were in great shape back then.
Great shape, but he wasn't shredded.
He was shredded.
I got
shredded
shape when I was 41 and after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You look. I saw you about a year ago on here, and you look great, man. You look the same.
No, but I know what you're saying, Al, because you see more when you get older. You can see, like when I got to be like 27, 28, I got more shredded. I got really shredded up. Real slim, but shredded. Yeah, I understand.
Those were the good days, Al. What happened to those days, man? The 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and back then it was 3 people. It was either Christy Canyon, Ginger Lynn, or Traci Lords on every set we were on.
Yeah.
Not Ginger because she went with Vivid right about then, but the other 2, it seemed like those 2 were on every set we were on.
And it was cool because I like them,
Super nice, right?
Traci, I mean, I don't know. I didn't work as well with Traci because she just wasn't there. She was like just doing it because she needed to do it or something like that.
Here's the thing. I loved Christy Canyon because we get in the same time, but Al would work with Christy all the time, and I would work with Traci all the time. Because I loved working with Traci, and I didn't mind that she was a bitch.
Traci looked like I like Traci.
I didn't care.
Traci was good.
The best.
Traci was the best.
The best. Al didn't like her. It just wasn't Al's type. Christy Canyon was. Ginger loved Al. That was his type.
Ginger was more
right.
But Traci Lords. Yeah. Oh God, Traci Lords! I can't even look at her. It makes me crazy. Amazing. She was unbelievable.
Amazing.
Good pussy.
Amazing. And I didn't get to work with Christy Canyon much, only a few times because I would play her brother. We were like the 2 youngest people, so Al would get to fuck her all the time, and she was nice. She was so nice.
Christy Canyon's unbelievable. Oh my God, she's one of the nicest people I've ever known.
The nicest.
Absolutely.
I would have to say the nicest. Even back then, if we went to work back then and she was going to be on a set, we knew it was going to be a fun day. Not because there was no fucking like that, just because she was so nice.
Oh, nice. She's still so nice. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And she's still like that. Exactly.
Christy Canyon, man. God bless her. May she live to be 150 years old. She's the best.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
And Ginger Lynn, too. Unbelievable. So nice.
Yeah. Very sweet.
Yeah.
No. You know how some people, then they're not performing anymore, and they're kind of bitter towards the industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, they made a good living, doing it. So I mean, and they know what they were doing. So it's like they're adults. Everybody's adults.
Hey Al, Traci Lords didn't know what she was doing. Give me a fucking break, okay? Give me a break on that one, bro. We both know she knew exactly what she was doing.
Really?
Come on, am I wrong, Al? I'm saying that.
I think some stuff behind not on camera.
Right? She did.
What happened? What, Al?
The makeup artists used to blow Al.
Oh, yeah?
Alexis blew Al in the bathroom.
Vogel? Oh, yeah?
Al remembers this.
I'm not saying anything.
Are we not allowed to say that?
Why not?
She was hot. She was
beautiful.
Oh my God.
Her face, I think later on I ran into her. She was big, you know what I mean?
She had great tits.
But she was
back
beautiful,
then.
beautiful girl, yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? Back then, everyone was nice. Everyone was nice.
She passed.
Who?
She passed, you know.
Huh? I didn't know.
Alexis Vogel.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I think about 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Seen a lot of that as we get older. Seeing seeing more people pass away.
Yeah.
But so that was when you talk about it, you kind of things pop up in your head about some of the times that you've been out type of thing. And
those were the best days, bro. Those were the best days.
What about the one that when I was kind of hanging with Candy a little bit, there was a brunette that Tony, you were like
Krista Lane?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That was your buddy. Right?
Krista Lane?
Krista. No, not Krista Barrington. That's Krista Barrington. Krista Lane. Dark hair, full hair. Because when we were on sets, most times, I'd be working with her and Al would be working with.
I remember her a little bit.
She was attractive and very sexual.
Yeah.
I
never got to work with
Krista Barrington?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You work with her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
We both did. I worked with her a lot, too.
Whoa, you did, Al? You worked with Krista Barrington?
Yeah. Asian girl.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, you guys are chatting up a little bit there, so I'll let you get back to your thing.
All right, bro, man. Thanks for picking up and.
No worries. No worries at all, man. No worries at all. Everything's starting to go smooth, and everything's getting good. So, good talking to you, Tony.
All right. All right, brother. I'll get a hold of you.
All right, Al. All right, man. Take care.
All right. Bye.
That's so strange. It brings back so many good memories. You don't even know. It's a different.
I do know because I had some of my best times of my life being an actor.
Al started a couple weeks before me.
Peter North, a
couple weeks before me. So anyway, what happened was, to get started, as John says, you want to do a scene in a movie. I'm like, okay. So
was it an exciting idea? You weren't into porn, so it meant nothing to you?
Dude, I was like, this is cool. I didn't know what to expect.
Movie star.
I didn't know what to expect. I was like, I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because it was fun. To be honest with you, I should have been doing it for the money back then, but I wasn't. I was doing it because it was fun. I'm stripping at night. So I would have to, anyway, let me start back to when I first started. So I drive up to the set, which was Canyon Country. You know where the cemetery is at when you get on the 14?
Of course. That's where Cal Jammer's buried.
I get into the whole Cal Jammer thing.
Huh? Oh, you were there.
I was there.
Fuck.
Anyway.
Forgot about that.
Good guy. Love Cal. Yeah. Right above the cemetery was that's a whole story. We'll get into that because that's.
Forgot all about that. Fuck. We'll bring it out of the shadows.
The dark days, right? So I show up on this set and it's Steve Drake, Francois, Erica Boyer.
Erica Boyer looks sexy.
She's my favorite.
Really?
Oh, I look.
Looks the pussy was
lesbian,
nice.
Lesbian. Her lesbian girlfriend Susie, big red hair.
Oh no, really?
But super nice to me. In fact, they were messing with me when I first came, and she's like, "No, this is his first barbecue, so you guys got to be nice." So it's those three. It's Karen Summers. It's Cassandra, I think Chase. First movie she ever did, it was the star of the movie. Bruce Seven is there. John Stagliano is there. Those are the two cameramen. It's John's movie, right?
Bruce and John?
Bruce, yeah. Bruce was shooting one camera, John the other. All right. So I'm looking around and I'm nervous. Looking around, all these naked girls are walking around naked.
So you got 5 girls? You say 4 or 5 girls? How many?
3 with me and 3 with
6.
Francois. So 6.
Wow.
So I didn't even think, what am I going to do? I'm nervous. Nervous.
But these are cute girls too.
Cute girls. All of them.
Fuck.
I don't even, the other ones that were there, I can't remember their names because they were new, but they were all good looking. I'm like, fuck them? I've done 100 private parties before where I want to fuck the girls, But a lot of times you can't because their mom's there. It's a bachelorette party, right? That's what I'm used to.
And they want to fuck.
Yeah, but their mom's there. Family's there a lot of times.
Sure.
And later I did one for the girls from the Hollywood Tropicana. I'll get into what happened there. That was fun. There was no parents. That was X-rated. And so anyway, he explains the scenes, what you're going to do, and you're just going to do a private party like you're doing it with Francois. So I felt comfortable because it was Francois and we worked together. No,
Had he done movies already?
Yeah. Oh, he's a big star. I mean, he was big. He was already pretty big back then. Yeah. He was good. Looking back, I don't know what he was taking because his dick was hard out of his pants too. But who knows? Maybe he's just a good performer because he's a real good looking guy. Girls loved him. Mm-hmm. So we do our strip routine, and then Phil, we just started having sex. And it just went, and it went, and it went, and it went, and it went, until John said, okay, you can go ahead and come. What, 45 minutes, so? And I'm not even thinking what I'm doing. I don't even realize I'm doing a porn. I don't realize the cameras were there. It was fun.
So it was really comfortable on the set.
It was really, John Stagliano is a cool guy, really cool. Okay, so he made you feel comfortable, but that never crossed my mind. Years later, comfortability was a big deal. First scene, I didn't think. I'm like, holy shit. So we get done with the scene. And
you fucked the other 3 girls too?
I fucked the other 3 girls.
6 girls you got to fuck?
No, only 3. Because Francois had the other 3, and I was new, so the girls he had were the girls that had been around for a while. Erica Boyer. I had a girl named Stevie, a big blonde girl, beautiful. Back in the day, this day she was popular, but I didn't get to work with any of the really stars because Francois did. Right? They didn't. They didn't know how I could perform or if it'd be comfortable, so they didn't want to look bad. I'm guessing that's what. Who knows? So it worked out, and John says, "Chuck, you want to stick around, and I'll give you another $250, and you do another scene later with the star of the movie because she wants to work with you." She was 18. We were both young. So
Who's
for
the girl?
Chastity Chase, I think was her name. Only did one movie because her boyfriend, a Bruce 7 girl. It was a girl Bruce was really liked at the time.
Pretty?
Oh, beautiful, dark hair, beautiful skin. To me, it was normal because it looked like a high school girl that I'm used to.
Yeah.
So you do a second scene. So I didn't even cross my mind, can I do it? It's my I didn't think like that. I didn't know any better, right? So we hung out all day, goofed around. Everyone was super cool. Erica Boyer, I just staring at her all day long.
She was hot.
I think she was beautiful. I loved her body, super nice.
But you didn't fuck her then?
No.
But she was super nice. You fucked her later.
Later, a lot later. Super nice though. Made me feel comfortable. Everyone, I'm gonna say, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to talk shit. Everyone made me feel comfortable, except for Steve Drake. Steve Drake was the only one who.
But Steve Drake was there?
Yeah. He was the other guy that was there.
Okay.
He was going out with a makeup artist at the time. So that made it a little uncomfortable for me, because he's an older dude, kind of bullying me,
Really? Well.
After that scene was over, he goes, "Oh, you think you can do another scene?" I'm like,
really?
I'm looking at Francois, like, what's he talking about? Why is this guy fucking with me?
Really?
Right? I'm like,
So he was undercover hater? Yeah.
Dude,
I didn't really know that.
people were afraid to be like that to you because they knew it would happen.
What would happen?
They get fucked up.
You heard of me fucking people up?
I saw you fucking people up.
Really? Really?
You remember the 3 guys you fucked up at the car wash? There's 3 guys against you off of Shoop. There was a car wash right there, and you pulled up in there. You don't remember this story?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, you do.
But you weren't there.
No, but you had told me the story already,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, my girlfriend was there. Yeah, I fucked up 3 guys, and that was that.
yeah. But anyway, so he fucked me a little bit, and so a little while went by, and we hung out all day, and you get to eat, and there's good food, and so I'm thinking, God, I love this. So we did the second scene. Just did it. Like there's no problem. And Bruce 7 says, "Listen, if you want to keep doing this, I'll send you over this guy, Jim South." I'm like, okay, I would love to.
So you got $500 that day.
$500.
And you did good on your second scene. No big deal.
No big deal.
That was great.
Did have
Dick was hard?
hard as a rock.
Wow.
Did have problems the second movie though. We'll get to
Here we go.
That was just beginner's luck.
You got
That was beginner's luck. Oh.
'Cause I didn't get that luck.
Hey, Phil, later on, people were like, you got lucky your first movie.
You got lucky.
Because after that, I didn't get so lucky.
Because Peter North, when he told me his first scene, 3 girls
Yeah.
with, guess who was the co-star guy that was with him?
Who?
Biff Malibu. So, I mean, you pull your dick out. You know, I mean, I was gonna be like, hey, this is gonna be a piece of cake. And the girls were like, he liked them and they were
Right.
pretty and all that. So,
And he was a Biff Malibu.
yeah,
And you know, that's where I live. And you know what? Chris?
Nice guy.
Chris, super nice guy.
yeah.
I grew up with him in Marina Del Rey.
Well, yeah, nice guy.
I'll get to that. I lived in Marina Del Rey, and he lived right down the street. So we were good friends. He used to be the shooter boy at the Red Onion on Wednesday nights with his shirt off, selling shots. He was a shot boy
Oh, was he? Okay.
because he had a great body. Yeah. Great body.
He was a wrestler. He's like a Olympic wrestler. I boxed him in a boxing match. Punches felt like flies, but he had great stamina because he was a fucking
He's a wrestler.
Olympic caliber, wrestler. And he outweighed me by 30 pounds when we did the boxing match.
And he trained a lot back then, too, you know.
Oh, he didn't have any power, but even at 30 pounds over me, but whatever.
So he sent me to Jim South. Now, you remember Jim over on Van Nuys Boulevard.
Yeah. I mean, the one and only world modeling,
The best.
the greatest adult agent in the history of porno, never to be passed or surpassed or even come close to this guy's
The best.
reputation. And I mean, there's not enough good I can say about him.
You're right. Absolutely. You know, it was him and Reb. And which really meant only Jim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So I go up to his office. Dude, I was so nervous.
4523 Van Nuys Boulevard, right?
I go up the stairs.
818-986-4316. I'll never
remember the
forget
phone
that number till I die.
He had the whiteboard. He didn't have the whiteboard yet. I've seen it in your things before, but he used to have a whiteboard and you put everyone's name on it, what days you were working.
Well, I have his board, you know what I mean? I showed it to you earlier.
Right.
So
That brings back
I'm going to go
memories.
get the board because it's a piece of history,
Yeah.
right? But first, let's go through what happened when you first got there.
I go up there and he says, yeah, Bruce said you were coming over. And back then, like I said, the movies were cast differently. It wasn't who was the best performer. It was Harry Reams, Paul Thomas.
In 84?
84.
You sure Harry Reeves was still working?
For Your Thighs Only, for Jerry Tenenbaum, he was the lead of the movie. It was later on. So it was the big guys, him, John Leslie, Jamie Gillis, and they were the big ones. Then you had the next level, which was like Herschel Savage, Peter North, Dan T. Mann back then.
I remember that name.
In fact, me,
Dan T. Mann.
Al, and Dan T. Mann all went to Hawaii on vacation together
Oh, yeah?
just to go fuck girls and have
really?
fun. Yeah. And he's a cool guy too.
Yeah.
And then there was the young kids, which was me and Tom Byron.
There was a couple guys. One guy, Scott Irish, right?
He wasn't around then.
He was done?
He didn't even start it.
Yeah, started. Oh,
Not in
okay.
84.
He came and he gone.
He came afterwards.
And then there's this one guy that was a little before you, part of those other guys.
A guy named Greg Rome, who brought Christy Canyon in the business, I remember back then.
John Martin. Remember that guy? Frisco guy.
He was in San Francisco. He wasn't down here, though.
Yeah, so you didn't see him.
I saw him when I went up there. Blonde hair guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just average or good or what?
He was in that middle group. Well, not middle, it wasn't a group, it was just the age range. You know what I mean? And it's like Tom Byron and I were the only guys that were young at that time.
Okay.
That were young.
Yeah, you're really young, yeah.
I mean, he was older than I was, but he looked young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So usually there would be 2 shoots going on. So I'd be at one and Tom would be at the other, because not very often did I work on the same set with Tom. Very rarely. I'm going to say only a few times, like for the Dark Brothers, those kind of movies, like the big movies, we'd all be on them because there wasn't enough of us, right? So Jim's like, okay, here's what you do. Here, go see these different people. Goes as we see Drea, Bill Margold's ex-wife. This is in 84.
Go see him?
Go see him, do an interview, because she's shooting a movie called Kissing Cousins with Christy Canyon, who was the star of the movie.
I had one of those go-sees to read. I had to read.
Right.
For Patty Rhodes.
Okay.
And, I read for the part. I was nervous as hell. It was probably in 89.
Right.
And the guy who was one of the shitty performer, who people don't even know how shitty this guy was, right?
Who was it?
Beat me because he could speak better and he could act better. But of course, he probably failed on the set. He came back later on when Viagra came, and then he started working. Joel Lawrence. The guy couldn't perform until Viagra came. He came back 2 or 3 times, never could perform, then finally came back when Viagra came. He beat me for the acting part.
But it was nervous. You were nervous back then.
Well, I couldn't act.
Have to read.
I couldn't act with fuck anyway, so.
Could any of us really act?
Oh, no, I really couldn't even act, but Patty Rhodes, whatever, you know what I mean? I had no problem with her. She's cool,
Yeah. So that's how they were cast back then.
Yeah, I understand.
And so Jim sends me out to see her. I get the part. Because they just needed a bunch of young guys, because it was a young people's movie. There was a few guys that were brand new that were in the movie. In fact, the guy that worked with Christy Canyon couldn't even get his dick hard. Right?
How many times have you seen that on the sets?
I'm watching this happen, bro. A lot. A lot.
How about this? This is the best one. How many times did you see a guy, good-looking guy, dressed nice, his mom gave him all the love in the world, right? He's like, I'm going to show you motherfucking porno guys what's up. You look at, I got a deep voice, and I'm a real man, and I'm going to school you motherfuckers, right? And pretty soon you're looking at him like, uh-huh. And when he walks out, soft dick motherfucker.
Isn't it funny? Those are the dudes that always fail.
Oh, yeah, always.
Always. You could see it a mile away. Yeah. And you could say to yourself, they're going to fail. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything. They're going to fail.
The thing is, on average, the guys who got a lot of pussy, on average, usually couldn't perform because they're getting girls they want to fuck. Mm-hmm. And they're not fucking desperate or they're not wild animals, right? Mm-hmm. On average. But you can perform, you get a lot of pussy, but you can perform. But tell me about the second scene.
So I'm going into the second movie. I show up and it's Christy Canyon's there. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl's so beautiful. Because she was almost my age. Now, my high school girlfriend looked just like her. That was her, from the same boobs, hair, face, nationality.
Armenian
and Italian, okay?
Is she Italian too?
Christy Canyon, I don't think was, but my girlfriend was, and she looked just like her. Mm-hmm. So I was so excited, and she was so nice. She was such a You know what, Phil? I cannot say enough nice things about Christy Canyon. The nicest girl back then at 18 years old, the nicest, sweetest. It just was nice. If you were showing up to a set and you knew she was going to work, you look forward to it because she was going to make everyone happy. You know what I mean?
So nice.
And to me, that's my type. Cute feet. She has beautiful feet, nice hands. She still looks great. She's still beautiful and nice. Just super nice person.
Unbelievable.
So she's doing the scene before me with this guy, and he's not getting his dick hard, and I'm watching from the door. Outside the door, I'm like, never seen a porn. I mean, I only did one, and I'm watching. Like, oh my God, how can he get hard for her? This guy's a fucking loser. What a fucking loser.
Sounds like Buck would say, loser.
So then it comes time for my scene. I shouldn't have been.
With who?
Okay. I had to work with, what was her name? You got to give me a second because I got to remember this. Heather Wayne. Heather. It was Christy Canyon's one of her best friends. Heather, I'm having a blackout of what her last name was. It was Bruce Seven's girl. Bruce Seven was so high on this girl. And actually the second movie I did was with her for Bruce Seven. This was the second movie before I went to Jim's house. And it was hard. It was hard for me. I got through it because Erica Boyer was there, and there was another girl, Gina Valentino.
Right, I remember her. Oh, dark hair, right?
Beautiful, cute feet. Yeah. I loved her. But the main focus was on the other girl, Heather.
You had to do...
It was a three-way. And I had to focus on...
2 girls and you?
3 girls.
A 4-way?
It's 4-way. And it was hard. Actually, it was struggle. It was. You couldn't tell it was hard, but I knew it was hard.
Your second scene?
Second scene again.
I mean, your second time? But...
Remember, Bruce shot camera on the first one.
Ah, man, you got lucky, man.
But Bruce shot camera, so he saw that going, oh, okay, I can put him with 3 girls. It was hard. I would have rather just been with 1 girl. Come on, 3 girls is hard. Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm not very good I'm not very good at all. You're not looking back. You get through it, right?
You think it's a fantasy until something in your brain hits you, right? and then something else hits you, and you're like, oh shit, am I stuck? And now, you know what I mean? How do I get through this hole? I'm in a little hole. How do I dig myself out?
I was like,
If you can't dig yourself out of that hole right away, what happens to your head?
Done. I hear you. So I'm not that into her. And this is Bruce.
Into Heather. Oh,
not
shit.
at all.
So that's pressure
Hey,
he's putting on you.
he didn't, and I couldn't say anything because it's his girl. I mean, his main girl. And because of this scene, I got through the scene fine. I mean, I got through the scene fine. But it wasn't a great scene. And it pissed him off that I wasn't into his girl. So I never got to work for Bruce 7 again after that because of this girl. Next shoot, she's there again. And I got to work with her alone this time.
You know,
I don't realize this gets this hard, right?
most of the time.
Didn't move. It would have moved.
Oh no.
It would have moved.
You were done. The whole
Would have
done.
moved. So Christy Canyon comes over. They send Christy in there because they knew.
for a fluffing or for the
No. Just look, she comes in and starts talking to me. Hey, John, what's going on? What's wrong? Now, what's wrong?
But you hadn't worked with, have you already worked with Christy?
Never.
Oh.
I just seen her there. And they could tell I thought she was the hottest girl on the set, and everyone thought she was pretty. So they sent her over there to stimulate, you know what I mean, just to talk to me. So she stood off to the side, and I looked at her and then finished the scene. I mean, I was able to finish it. Horrible scene. Horrible.
So you barely.
A fuck with the head. Horrible.
So you went home.
Like, I'm never doing this again. I'm not a man. I'm not a real man with the fuck.
Yeah.
Then it kicks in. All the lights, all the people watching.
Sweating.
I'm pouring sweat. These hot lights are on you. I'm like, why wasn't it like this last time? It's miserable, bro. I don't even want to remember it, but I can admit when I failed, but it's a failure. So I go back to Jim's the next day.
Oh no, they told him.
Jim's already heard about it. He says, Chuck, you know what? I'm going to do this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you to do some stills with Lance Kincaid.
I know. I work with
Kincaid.
Lance. Little spot over Sherman Way.
Right. Lance, super cool.
Reseda.
Super cool guy.
Yeah,
comfortable.
Always. I love working for him because it was so easy.
Best.
And you get to fuck. It was hardcore. You get to fuck the girls.
Hard girl skills.
Oh, it's the best.
So he told me, do this. It'll help you learn. Right?
Oh, that's nice.
He goes, because you're going up to San Francisco next week and working for Jerry T. Right?
Was he hard to work for?
I'll get there. So I said, fine. So it worked out. Go up to San Francisco. Me and Al fly up there. Peter North's on the set too, right?
Well, you and Peter North fly up.
Me and Peter North fly up there. I'm just supposed to be an actor in the movie, and Paul Thomas is the lead of the movie and is going to work with this girl named Angel. Beautiful. Remember Angel? Dark hair, 18, 19 years old.
Really?
Phenomenal. You'll have to look her up when we're done. Angel. Just Angel was her name. The best looking girl I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Beautiful, right?
Oh, she's that pretty, I'm gonna look it up, see if I can find her.
Angel, and the name of the movie was For Your Thighs Only. And you'll see what she looks like there. But I mean, she was so pretty.
Was it Angel, a.k.a. Jennifer James?
Angel, dark hair?
So that's Angel,
Angel.
a.k.a. Jennifer James.
Nice, right?
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. I can see hairy pussy and just pretty tits, and I see what's going on with her is inside her. She's got the natural beauty.
super sexual.
Yeah, I can see it.
Really nice.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
let me
cat,
see.
almost like a kitty cat.
They were all really nice back then. They're just really nice. She was super, super cool. But so she was the lead of the movie, and PT was supposed to work with her. PT doesn't show up.
Whoa, really? He's like a big star then, right?
Yeah.
This is 84?
84. Might have been 85. 84. Late 84, end of the summer.
PT's getting higher.
So PT's little extracurricular activity.
You like cocaine?
Did he?
I mean, I heard, he told me on the interview.
Right.
He loved cocaine, but his drug of choice was for sex is LSD, I think.
Really?
Or LSD or ecstasy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Cocaine is not that high up on the chart, I don't think. But I mean,
Back then, coke was a big thing. I mean, they just came in about right then. And let me say this: I only saw it on one set that was ever on in my life. It was Roy Karch, and it was right in the beginning, like the 4th movie I ever did. I never saw drugs on a set.
I think Roy Karch just passed too.
Did he
Or
really?
he's right on the end of it.
Super nice guy, too.
I sent some money for the GoFundMe for
You
him.
worked for him, right?
I loved him.
Super nice guy. You don't be in the closet doing coke with the girls, right? Yeah, like, where are you?
I heard this before.
Yeah. Super cool.
I didn't see when I worked for him. I never saw the coke.
But that's the only time I ever saw it. I never, ever saw coke, speed, anything ever on a set.
I never saw
Never.
shit on the set ever.
And when-
marijuana, big deal. Everybody's smoking weed.
And when people ask you out on the street, your fans, they think there's coke on every set and it's a big party. I'm like, no, never.
I never saw it. I never saw. And in my head, Mark Davis, the only guy, said that he did coke and perform. PT said he's done coke before and performed, but he had to do it right away. Otherwise, he would fail. But Mark, I think, could do it. So Mark is...
He could do anything.
Mark's strong.
Strong.
But
I didn't even know that, though. I didn't even know that back. You know what I mean? I didn't know that back
there's
then.
no way in hell that I could do cocaine and perform.
No way.
Impossible.
Not even...
Impossible.
Wouldn't even go to the set, right?
I would be too whacked out of my fucking mind. You know what I mean? But I would be like, in front of... No.
Not even close. But these guys could do... I mean, good for them. So he didn't show up. So Jerry T said, Chuck, you're going to play his part. You're going to work with Angel right now. Now, is all I'm thinking about is that last scene.
Oh, no, man.
Yeah, that's it. Luckily, she was so hot. And I just, you could kiss back then. And I was, then I just started kissing her, and then it was just great, right? Movie gets over, and Jerry T
Did she have good stuff?
She was so beautiful, sex-wise. Everyone loved her. See, still back in those days, these kind of girls only worked with the big guys because they were the star of the movie. I was just second. I was a secondary guy. You know what I mean? These, you're being hired because you're PT or you're Jamie Gillis or one of the big guys. So all these girls work with them.
John Leslie. Right?
John Leslie. They'd work all with the hot girls, and that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I was just happy, all right? Because she was great.
She looked beautiful. Was the pussy good?
Beautiful. Hairy.
But was it good?
Great. They were all hairy back then, though.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm going to bring this question up later. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, they all pretty hairy back then. Except Traci Lords wasn't very hairy back then.
She looks, Tracy, I can't even say her name without fucking being aroused.
Still, she was the best. Yeah.
Of all time? Say it.
Her, Amber Lynn, and Vanessa Del Rio. Vanessa Del Rio was probably...
Fuck Vanessa Del Rio. I have all these girls I want to know who you fuck, so I really don't want to go there yet.
So
but you
hold
went
on.
there.
So let me finish with this because I just talked about what Jerry T did. He goes to me and Al. He goes, "Come on, you two guys are coming with me. You're going to stay with me at the Embarcadero, which was a nice hotel. Everyone else was at a small
Downtown,
down on the water. He goes,
downtown San Francisco, near the Fisherman's Wharf, and not a little bit, kind of close.
Fisherman's Wharf. Yeah. And he goes, and you guys can fly home in the morning, right? Because we were done, right? So we go to dinner. We come back, and we're all sitting in the living room of his suite. He goes in the bedroom and comes out, drops a big bag of Coke on the table. I was like,
Have you did Coke already?
Never. I didn't even know what Coke was.
Peter Norris there?
Yeah, he was there. Al didn't partake. No. Al went to bed. I went to sleep.
Yeah, Al always stayed in good shape.
Yeah, he didn't party at all. He went to sleep.
He told me he did it a couple of times, but it's not his thing.
No, it wasn't his thing. So he went to sleep, and me and Jerry sat up and partied. And this is where I learned the best lesson going forward. He said, Chucky, I see you're having a hard time because you're relying on the girl to get you hard. You're relying on being attracted to the girl. If you're going to be successful in this business, you got to stop relying on the girl. You got to just rely on your thoughts. Get yourself hard. Make sure that you're in control of that. Think about, he's like, you strip every night. Think about some of the stuff you do after the stripping to get thoughts when you're not into the girl.
Jerry had that insight?
Yeah, because he's telling me, he's saying, I see it's a struggle for you, and you're not going to be attracted to, every girl's not going to be Angel. So he gave me the best advice in those 9 hours.
Oh, you guys were getting. Oh, so just you and him?
Just
and
me
Al
and him.
But Al went to bed?
Al went in the bedroom.
So you just did lines?
We did lines and we talked.
What did you think? Let me tell you something.
Dude.
I don't want to do cocaine and be next to a guy.
It was the first time I ever did it.
Right.
So I didn't know. I was like, wow. And we just talked. We just bullshitted. And he gave me so much knowledge and positivity. And that was a good lesson to learn because he told me that and I started doing that, it worked a lot easier. So.
Well, I liked him. He's a cool guy.
You work for Jerry, right?
No, I never worked for him because when I got into business, he was out. And then when he started directing again, you were gone. You started your own business. Yeah,
you had your own. Yeah, you had your own company.
I had about 10 years working as an actor for people, and that was it. And then barely 10 years because the last year and a half, I kind of was not easy to hire because I was busy.
Right.
So probably 8 years being able to be hired, and then a year and a half or 8.5 years, and then a year and a half only if I knew you and if I had time.
Right. Because when I would call you to work, like I told you before, you'd be like, I'll do it, but I don't want to.
Really?
I'll do it because we're friends, you'd say.
Really?
But yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I'd even say I'll pay whatever you want. I mean, back then you're
Really?
charging like $800 probably back then, which was the most any guy that I would pay a guy that no one else asked for that. Right? I mean, guys are asking for 500.
400 or 500 probably.
Yeah, and this is when you were living next to me on the place by the freeway.
Yeah, so that was 98. So so that's 8 years, 8.5 years. So I was.
You said you're doing your own thing.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was great being an actor. It was the best times of my life. Doing business is different.
Totally different. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get to learn that other side of the business from hanging around with Kevin. So I get to see what you had to deal with right in the beginning when I came back. But anyway, so back in these days, that was an interesting story. And Jerry T was a cool guy.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Western Visuals is what he owned. Elliot was his partner. Elliot Siegel was his partner.
Because Elliot got me in the business.
Yeah, and Jerry was his partner. Elliot was his partner.
They were gone by then.
Yeah, Elliot was still here.
No, but they weren't part of Elliot.
Jerry, no.
They were gone.
No, he left when all that shit started happening to Jim South with Reb, with the baseball bat and him getting beat up. So Jerry had his own bodyguard. Everyone kind of then started that.
It really makes me upset because if I was around and I knew Jim South got hurt,
you would have killed this guy.
I gotta let you know that for that person, had I understood where they might be, I think that I would have,
I'm surprised, but it was so many years later.
And I was just like a young kid.
When you came around, though.
But.
You were never a young kid.
But.
Those hands were always that size.
But I would have, if somebody took a bat to my friend.
Right. No, you know what?
I'd take a bat to them.
No one ever fucked with people that you liked back then.
Not like I'm a big bad guy, but if you're upset, you're upset.
Right. Yeah. So those days were tough with Jim South. I mean, come on, he was a great guy, and
Jim South.
Reb was, it was competition with him and Reb, right?
Oh yeah. But Jim was always great to you.
Come on, the best. He's like Jim. I listened to how you talk about Jim. Kind of a lot the same with me. He's kind of like a dad to me. Because I was just a young, impressionable kid back then.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And Jim was really kind to me. We used to go to lunch at Hamburger Hamlet, or we go to dinner at Sully's across the street.
Same
In
story.
fact, we were at Sully's with him the night he got beat up the second time. And Max Baer and myself.
Max Baer Jr.
Max Baer Jr., yeah. We're at Sully's having dinner, and I left, and Max left, and Jim left. And then the next day I found out.
No, Max stopped it.
And I didn't see it because I went across the street, so I didn't even see it all happen. But it happened right after.
I would fucking lose my mind because I really like Jim. I would fucking...
For no reason. Jim didn't do nothing to nobody.
Oh,
He never ripped nobody off. He never fucked girls. He never made anyone feel uncomfortable.
He was the best.
He just was a good dude. He was a good dude. Anyway.
Yeah, I would lose my mind. You know what? I'm going to bring the board out because I brought it out before, but since you're such a big part of Jim South, hold on.
The whiteboard.
So this is Jim South's talent roster. Okay? Squat down so I can see you. Okay. So these are the names. These are still original. Jim South's name. He wrote these names in there. And I don't know.
This was the first one back then. Was this right here was Traci Lords.
Traci Lords is A.
Traci Lords the first one.
Number 1. And this is 1, 2, 3. This is the days of the month.
And they were booked. And they were booked every single day.
Every
day. That's why you had to bring the board out.
And so this is, look at that. That's RW. Guess who that is? Still there.
Randy West.
Randy West. I'm guessing, right?
And back then, Randy West used to be over here.
Oh, yeah?
He had all the guys over here. He had Tom Byron, Peter North, Randy
TV.
West,
Look at there's Tom Byron right there.
Tom Byron. All of us were over here.
There's that. Who's that? TT. And PN. Where's PN? Right here. PN. Peter North.
Jonathan Morgan.
Yep.
Your stud, that stud. Anyway, so yeah, this was Traci. Then it was Ginger. Then it was Christy Canyon. And then those are the only 3 big girls he had at the time. And then those are the girls that every single day was booked. Every day.
This board was, when did it come in?
1980, end of 84, early 85.
You saw the board come in?
Yeah, it wasn't there when I first started, and it came in after that.
So where were you?
Over here. It was, there was Peter North, Tom Byron, Mark Goldberg, Randy West, myself, and Steve Drake.
Look at MG, Mark Goldberg.
So all the girls were on this side, and all the guys were on this side.
Oh, yeah? Wow. So these are the girls' names over here. Yeah. But whoever, except for RW's got to be Randy West, I'm thinking. Let's see what somebody...
He worked a lot back then, too.
Yeah. He was great.
Great guy.
So, to get on this board, let's tell the truth. To get on the board, especially when I came around, because there was more people. Way more people. To get on the board was very...
You're working every day.
You're not going to get on the board, yeah.
Back when he had us on there, it wasn't every day.
Yeah.
But the girls were every day, but they were magazine shoots. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't movies every day. But yeah.
This board is sentimental to me. Jim South gave it to me. Jim South is passed on as of 3.5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3.5 months ago, and well, it's a great piece to have.
He loved you. Nothing like something like that to make you feel old.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy. So Jim South liked me, you said?
Loved you. Come on.
How do you know?
Well, because when I came back into the business, he'd talk about you a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Because
what would he say?
If you learn to do scenes like TT, you can make a lot of money.
Come on, he said that?
I'm like, who's TT? Because I didn't know. I'm like, even now, I'm like, who is this guy TT? He's in every movie. He goes, oh, you'll see. We're working together next week. So,
oh, yeah?
that was one of my first, you remember Sorority Sex Kittens for Jim Holiday.
Yeah, of course I remember that title, but
you don't remember
the scene.
Really?
Yeah, Lacey
Rhodes.
Yeah.
Lacey.
Redhead.
Lacey.
Redhead, yeah.
Yeah.
She's a nice person.
Nice.
Yeah. Huh. Anyways, I love Jim.
Great guy.
And I always say this, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I feel, honored and privileged to be part of that time, that era. I got to see the 80s. I ran the 90s.
Right.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as far as producing and directing and distributing, I ran the thousands.
Right.
But anyways, let's move on.
But the early 80s were totally different than when you came in. Totally different.
Oh, yeah?
It was like a family. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was still like a little bit like a family in 89. I was in 89.
Was it? Because I didn't come back till 92.
So
I came back in 92.
When did you leave?
I left. What happened is, so anyways, that worked out fine. Started working.
Yeah, let's go there.
Worked all through 85. Okay.
All through 85. How many days a week might you work?
4 days.
And how many scenes a day? 1, 2?
You know what? Back then you got paid by the day. So if you did 1 scene or 2 scenes, you got paid the same.
How much you get paid? How much did you get paid your first job? You didn't tell me.
$250.
Oh, you did tell me.
John paid me $250.
$250, right.
But there were days.
And you were 19.
19. But there were days you had to work. You worked for 200. There were days I did scenes for 150. You know what I mean? Because that's just how it was. There wasn't as many movies going on because the video was brand new, right? Okay. So you would work every day, but some stills, some movies. You do the stills to get better. You know what I mean? But it's money. But I wasn't doing it for the money because I had to leave early because I go to my dance.
So you still were stripping, making money stripping?
Every night.
How much would you make stripping every night?
A lot less than porno.
A lot less.
You get $100 back. Back then you got paid $75 to do the show, and then you got tips, which was probably another $100. If you were, 100. If it's 300 girls, you made more. But 150 to 200, 250 maybe.
Well, you might make $500 a day, including stripping.
Oh yeah. But I wish back then I would have been doing porn for the money, but I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because it was fun, right? So it was so fun all through that year.
But if it was fun, why didn't you want to do more? Or could you?
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
So we're doing movies, and then you met my friend Steve from New York. You own tanning salons, right? Down in
Blonde hair guy.
Blonde hair guy, right? He lived in Marina Del Rey. Jerry T's assistant, Miles, was his best friend. He introduced me to him. So I meet up with Steve. We're in Palm Springs. He's at a club, the Red Onion, in Palm Desert. I had just met him a week before, didn't know he was going to be there, and we meet this girl. And we hook up with this girl. And he's like, dude, come over and hang out with me at the Ocotillo. All the people in Palm Springs would hang out at the Ocotillo Hotel. And so I went over, hung out with him, and he says, listen, bro, come move down to Marina Del Rey with me. Okay, this is 64, 74, 84. This is end of 85, 86 is just starting, right? I first moved down with Buck Adams.
I love Buck.
I'm just
He was my roommate. He stopped by and didn't leave for 6 months.
That happened.
Same, yeah.
That happened. Dude, this time he had an apartment, right? And he's like, I just had met him because I worked for Jim. And you couldn't work with Reb's girls, and Amber was with Reb. I wanted to work with Amber so bad.
How was she hot as fuck back then?
And I couldn't work with her. None of us could because we weren't on her set. But right before the convention,
Amber Lynn, everybody. Amber Lynn.
We worked for the Dark Brothers up in San Francisco. The Devil and Miss Jones.
Greg Dark.
A New Beginning with Vanessa Del Rio was the star of the movie. Yeah. And Amber was on the set. So I got to meet her. Buck was on the set. So I started talking to Buck. Buck's like, oh, dude, you got to move to the Valley, bro. You got to move to the Valley. You can move in with me. He had a place on Woodman, right?
Oh, yeah?
So I'm thinking, I'm in Orange County.
This is 85? 86?
86.
Okay.
January after the convention of 86.
Okay. The AVN Awards.
AVN Awards, right? So I go to the convention. I meet Reb. Reb's like, Chuck, you want to come in? Look at all these girls, right? You know how Jim South felt about that, right?
Oh, that's treason.
So I went and talked to Jim, and he goes, you know what, Chuck, I wouldn't usually be okay with this, but I know that you're not in this for the long haul right now. You still strip. That's really your main thing. Really? Don't be taking my girls to him, and I trust you, because he was like a father to me. He goes, I understand you're young. You just want to fuck those girls, right? I'm like, of course. I don't even want the money. I'll do it for free. So he kind of gave me a pass. To be honest,
really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, he was really cool about it. So Buck says, I went up to San Francisco to work with Buck right after the show, right? So they fly us up there.
Was Buck, what kind of level was he? The mid-level?
No, Buck was stud.
No.
Oh, in that same category as Peter North. Like the one,
the mid-level.
The middle-aged guy.
Right.
Like the older brothers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but not Jamie Gillis or any of those.
No.
John Leslie.
No.
Not the big heavy hitters.
I'm going to be honest with you. You realize that the guys we're talking about did better scenes than the ones you're talking
of
right?
course.
But they were it wasn't
acting,
like they weren't casting you for the fucking part of it. They were casting you for the acting part, believe it or not.
Right. But Buck had a good look. He was he pretty strong back then?
Shredded.
Okay.
Great body.
Kind of tough? Or not as tough as he thought?
You know what? What I found out later is he just always said he was tough. He was never tough.
I used to beat his ass in my apartment all the time.
Right. I always thought he was tough though. I thought he was like a badass.
So he was more full of shit a little bit?
Yeah. But loved him.
I love Buck.
I love Buck.
And nothing bad against Buck.
Nothing at all.
But he did have a good game.
Great. Performer.
Right.
Couldn't talk to girls, but he's a great performer.
I seen him talk his ass off.
Wait, you know what? I was going to say, you know what?
No, he was a salesman.
He actually could talk to girls too.
Yeah, he could.
He was, Buck was.
But he didn't give you a run for your money.
Might have. He could fuck better than me.
No, but talk.
Yeah.
No, okay.
No, but he could fuck better. Yeah. He was good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was a strong. He was
very.
At a certain point, he's very. But then I guess towards later on, he wasn't as strong. Right.
Drugs come in.
You
can't. It wasn't really him. Just
in the beginning, he was strong.
Very. For years, for many years.
Yeah.
So
Was he as strong as me?
not even close.
No?
Come on. You
I
got-
worked side by side with him and it didn't
but
seem like it.
There
but,
was in those days. It was Rocco wasn't here at the time. It was just you. So there was you, and then there was everybody else. You know what I mean? Even Al, all of it, and they knew. You know, come on, everyone knows. Everyone knows that. They may not want to say it on your podcast when you're talking to them, but they know. So back then it was all illegal. So we had to go up to San Francisco to work.
legal in Frisco because they was really open-minded.
So we go up to Jack's place in Novato. You ever work at Jack's Ranch up in Novato? That's where most of the shoots were. So I room with Buck up there. Now, I've never experienced Buck before. I've never experienced the partying and all that.
You're just a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen the Jerry T stuff. This was after that, but still, not Buck on Buck's level. Forget about it. It's a different thing. So he goes. So the one day we both go to work, and I get to work with Tasia Ray.
Oh, I was gonna bring that fucking name up. I jacked off to her many times. She looks succulent.
I did a movie with everyone was in the movie. Herschel Savage. It was Herschel Savage's girlfriend or wife in the movie. And I'm in the dream sequence, the guy she's fucking in the dream in the movie, right?
She looked good.
Wonder Luck or Wishful Luck, I forget the name of the movie. But I was just like, she was from New York.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to work with, she was new. And I'm looking at her like, holy shit.
Was she cute as fuck?
Oh.
And a little bit of a body too?
Cute,
She had that luscious look, right?
Sexual. Sexual. And it was a girl we never worked with because she lived in New Jersey, right? She wasn't from here.
Right.
So we do the scene, and Thomas Paine was the guy directing. He says, okay, guys, you can do it first soft, do the whole scene, and then do this whole scene hard. If you're hard right away, do the whole scene hard, and then we'll do it soft afterwards. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's a big set. Big, bossy soundstage, cold, 50 people standing around. I mean, back then in the day, there was a ton of people.
Yeah, film probably. Was it film?
It was film. But they weren't watching you. But as an actor, you think they're all watching you. Oh,
Some are.
God,
Some are watching. Some are watching.
That's probably
Tasia Ray, they're
true.
watching.
But I couldn't think that or I'd fail, right? Mm-hmm. So she says, we just started doing the scene, just started fucking. Just went through the whole thing, right?
Blowjob fucking?
Everything. Didn't stop. One of the funnest scenes I think I've ever done.
Really?
It was so
And the
fun.
movie is called what again?
You know what? You can find out what the name of the movie is if you put both of our names in a Google search. I think Wonder Luck or Wonder Luck or Wishful Luck. I don't know. Something like that. It's been so many years.
1986.
86. January of 86.
So she was unbelievable?
Unbelievable. So the hardcore gets over. The softcore is going to start. I'll never forget, she says to me, she says, if you can get hard, motherfucker, you can still fuck me.
Really? She said motherfucker?
Just like that. She was from New York, so she's
Whoa,
kind of
she was kinda rough?
a tough girl. You know what I mean? She said
sweet?
She said it funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
I know you're gonna get hard again for me. I can already see it.
She wanted to see.
Yeah.
We wanted to
And that
be,
never happens. I could never do that.
Oh, no? But you did.
But then it was great. Yeah. I mean, but there was a lot of times where a girl said that. I would not have said great. I would have been like, no thanks, that's too much work. Too fucking hard, right? You just had sex, right?
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, okay, let's do it again. So we did, during the softcore, we did hardcore the whole time. And I was like, wow, she's amazing.
Beautiful. She pretty. She just looked like those girl next door that was one class up that you would just like, thought about every day.
I was so infatuated with her. Because then I'll tell you, when we got back, we hooked up too, and I'll tell you that in a second. So after the movie's over, Buck has to work the next day, and I'm off. We still had to work like 5 more days up there for different directors. Like they'd fly you up, and then you'd work for different directors in different days because they were already up there, right? They had to pay for you to fly up or you travel. So I hung out with Susie Gunn, which was Erica Boyle's girlfriend. Erica and Buck are working together, right? So me and Susie go out, and we're walking around the city, checking it out. She's showing me like the gay part. And I'm like, what's going on here? You know, I'd never seen them like that. So she gives me a bag of Quaaludes.
Oh.
I didn't even know what Quaaludes were.
A bag of lemon 714s?
10 of them, right? Still never taken one. Come to find out later, Steve, my roommate, was selling them, who I lived with later. So she gives them to me, and they all get off work. we all go over to Susie and Erica's room, right? Me, Buck, and those two. And I'm thinking we're just going to eat a lewd and hang out. No, they had different plans.
Orgy.
The Coke pipe.
Oh, really?
I had really never seen this shit.
You did lewds and then?
I do one of my lewds, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't give it to them. They didn't want one. I'm like, you guys don't want one? They go, no, we're going to do this.
Oh, so no lewds. Well, they didn't want to do lewds, but you did one.
But I did. I'm like, I want to try it. I've never tried one. You know what I mean? I heard it's pretty good.
So you, Erica Boyer's girlfriend, and Buck,
right? We're in the room.
After, because this is common after you do a scene.
Over.
When you're on location,
Right.
far away, a lot of people hang out together.
Yeah, we were family. We go to dinner, whatever we're going to do.
Yeah.
So we're in the room, and they take out the Coke and start cooking Coke. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
So what happened?
We're going to freebase, they say. So I said, guys, I took off. I went back to the room.
Really?
Okay. Pass out, fall asleep, and I wake up the next morning and Buck's coming just back to the room. It's like 8 o'clock the next morning. We're having to go to another set to work. But we don't go to work that day. We have the day off, another day. And Buck comes back in all, bug-eyed. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you guys doing? He goes, oh, Chuck, that was crazy. They ended up getting in a fight, and we're doing Coke, and they're screaming, and the cops came. And
Oh, my God.
like,
they weren't fucking?
No,
What
they were
the
just getting
fuck?
high.
What
They
the
were-
fuck? Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So Buck says, you know what? When we get back, you got to come move in with me. Come move in with me over on Woodman.
No.
So
I-
you can imagine, right?
that was the end of you.
So
Oh, no.
what I'm thinking in my mind is, Amber Lynn. I can hook up with Amber Lynn if I move in with Buck, right?
There's a plot behind every story.
So we go back home, and there's the XRCO Awards, right? At this time, they
86?
were
87.
86, and they were at Gazzari's on the Sunset Strip. So I get done with the movie, and I'm going to meet Buck over there, and Tasia Ray's there, still in town. So I said, hey,
Was the pussy tight, Bertaja? Was it just
the
good?
best pussy I ever had.
Best pussy you ever had?
Tight. She was young. She had to be 18, 19
Yeah,
years.
but it's genetics a lot of times.
Tight,
No,
tight and into it. So she's there.
Wet.
Totally. She was into it back. You know what? I got to say, most of the girls were into it back then. You know what I mean? I don't think there was a whole lot of lube at all.
Abilene.
That was Abilene. That's all we had.
Everybody knows makeup remover we use for lube.
Abilene was the only thing we had. And once you started with Abilene, you had to use it the whole scene.
But let it be understood. I think I might have brought it up before. You had a tub of Abilene, and everybody used the same Abilene, so there was a lot of different people's pubic hairs in there, and spit, and who knows, and maybe possible shit in there from anal.
There were so many pubic hairs in it. That was so.
Right, here you go.
Hey, you know what? We never even thought about it, did we? Did we? We didn't even think
I
about
didn't give
it.
a fuck. You're just happy to be in porno.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up. Do your job. Thank you.
I was just happy to be laid. I wasn't even porno. I was just getting paid. That was just a bonus.
I was happy to be in porno.
So I said, listen, Buck said, we're going to party back at my house. I'm like, okay, can I take her? Let's go to dinner. So
Taja?
Taja. So we went to dinner. And we go back to Buck's, and we're parked on Woodman. And she says, listen, they're partying up there. And I didn't expect that we were going to have sex. I didn't even think that. We were just hanging out, right? I wanted to. She said, listen, we can't fuck up there, but we can fuck right here in the car. We fucked on Woodman Avenue in the seat of my Celica, right in the front seat.
Woodman Moore Park? Woodman what?
Woodman and between Victory and Oxnard. That's where he lived. Brand new.
Mark Goldberg used to live closer there.
Did he? Buck had a place right there, 2-bedroom place. Nice place.
A little cheaper on that side. More on the north side, it was cheaper.
Right.
More reasonable.
Back then it was so early. A new building, nothing was really expensive.
Yeah, $200,
right.
$300.
Mark lived down the street, you're right. Yeah. So we have sex in the car, and I go to walk her up, and I walk up there, dude, and they're all smoking Coke. And I had to leave. It made me feel uncomfortable. I still didn't think if I moved there, this might be going on. I just thought Amber Lynn.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Fuck hands ruin your life.
Oh, little did I know what these people were doing.
Oh, my God.
So anyway, I ended up moving up there with him, and I had to move out after a few months. Because,
Really?
well, what happened was, right when I got up there, we were all on a movie in San Francisco, me and Amber. And she goes, oh, you're Buck's roommate, right? Right before this, I had come out one of my first nights living with them, and it was Amber and Buck were out there getting high. And
Both
brother, they did a lot of nights, you know. But it was different back then. They weren't weird.
No,
it wasn't.
They never got. They weren't weird at all.
It was. Coke was different back then. It wasn't sketchy. People didn't get weird. It wasn't weird at all.
But I just see it kind of hard to smoke.
I know.
Cocaine with your brother or sister seems kind of weird. Because for me, I think of smoking cocaine as like a sexual drug.
No. Okay, well, back then I don't think it was, because they're sitting there, and what they would do is they get 151 Bacardi and a Q-tip and a cotton ball and a coat hanger. And they put it on the coat hanger and stick it in the 151. They'd hold each other's hair so they wouldn't burn their hair. And that was the first experience out there. I'm like, holy shit. I go, but I still think she's hot, right?
How hot was she looking? She's a hard body, right?
Phenomenal, dude.
Her face is super cute.
Everything.
Al says that he thought she was super hot.
The hottest. She was super hot back then. I mean, everything. And she was cool. Yeah. Super nice. Yeah. So we're in San Francisco and we hook up on the set. And then we were together for like 2 months straight. Right? She was living with Jamie Gillis at the time. I'm over about Jamie.
I heard he had trained her to become like a naughty girl. True?
Fuck yeah. Because I say, where do you learn this shit? She goes, fucking Jamie. And I've been on sets with Jamie. So, you know, Jamie took me to a swing club one time in San Francisco. And we're, he goes, Chuck, we're at the end, there's a trough where you wash your dick, right at the end. And I'm standing next to him. I look down at his dick, and it was green, and purple, all different colors. And he could tell what I was thinking, right? Because I'm just like, he looks at me. I'll never forget it. Jamie Gillis. Pigs, aren't they? Just like that. He goes, we're all pigs. We're all pigs, Chuck. And I'm like, what? What? He goes,
are you serious?
Just like in his funny in his creepy way, and Ron Jeremy's on the other side of him, cracking up because he sees my face. Like, how do I take this? He goes, Chuck, he's playing around, and you didn't know how to take Jamie back then. If you didn't know him,
he was out there, and he seemed like kind of intelligent guy.
So smart,
right? So it seemed like he knew psychology a little bit.
Yeah, smart guy, super nice guy.
I love him.
Kind, really kind to everybody, right?
You know something about Jamie that you loved talking to him, right? You just felt like it was good, you know, like he was special. Yeah, he was special.
Him and John Leslie. Yeah, I would just sit and listen to those guys. You know what I mean? Because as much as you learn, I mean, back then I didn't know anything, so I'm listening to John Leslie and Jamie Gillis talk and do acting. I was like, I mean, it was impressive. It was like, these guys are talented guys. Mm-hmm. So that was back then. And what happened is I said, well, you're with Jamie. She goes, well, we're really not together. I just still live there. We're more like, you know, best friends. Because it was kind of free back then. You know what I mean? They were fucking everybody in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So we were pretty much together for a few months. But the problem was they would smoke coke every night. And after a while, I'd be like, I can't keep living here like this.
Buck and
Amber. Buck, Amber, and John Johnson, I think was his name. He was with Reb. And Jerry Butler.
Jerry Butler.
I
like Jerry Butler. He seemed like
the best. He would come over, okay? He'd come over with a stack of magazines. Cosmopolitan, Vanity Fair, these things. He'd get his Coke, and he'd go in the bathroom. And I'm like, Buck, what the fuck? He goes, oh, you're not going to see him for a while, but you're going to love it. You're going to love what you see. He would go in the bathroom. He'd oil. It was a long bathroom, right? Long floor. He'd oil everything. There was baby oil everywhere. And on the mirror, he would go to the magazines and cut out this person's head, this person's legs, this person's, and tape them on the thing and then jack off to these pictures that he made on the mirror. With oil everywhere. Because then he'd come out and grab more Coke. He'd oil that.
Smoking it.
No. He was snorting it in there. He'd just be snorting it and jacking off. Weird. I'm like, what are you doing in there, bro? He goes, oh, I play slip and slide all over the bathroom. He was a character.
Wow.
He was a character.
That's wild.
And hey, it was fun. It was fun at first. You know what I'm saying? It was fun because it wasn't weird. You know what I mean? Everyone acted normal. There was no paranoia. Mm-hmm. But after a while, I'm like, you can't just be going to work. And I wanted to start dancing again, right? Because the drug thing was just like,
So you didn't do any drugs then?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were.
I partook. Not at first.
Okay, so tell me.
After I moved into Bucks.
You moved into Bucks, and then what happened?
Then I partake.
What happened? What happened?
There's a lot of partying going on.
They said here, and you said okay?
They go, come on, bro, just try it. It's not going to hurt. You see how normal we are?
Really? Oh,
and I thought, well, they are pretty normal.
So you were
Amber's like, I'll take care of you, Chuck. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Shit. That's your girl too.
It's okay. You'll be okay.
Oh, no.
Here's some candy, little one. You fucking ruined your life. You fucking asshole.
Amber.
Oh. So.
Is she Eve or what? Adam and Eve, here, take the apple.
She'd have me eat the whole apple.
So you would smoke the coke and have sex together?
Yeah. It wasn't so we'd just sit down and hang out, and it was kind of fun. And then her and I would go in the room. We'd have sex.
How was the sex smoking coke?
Great.
So again, I
was so new to it. It didn't hit me like I think it would hit most people because I didn't know what to expect. And the coke wasn't like that back then.
No? Oh.
It was different.
But it was sexual or not sexual?
Yes, but it didn't make you have a soft dick. It didn't make you paranoid. It didn't make you anything crazy. Right. It just made you, and they were cool. They were actually really nice people. They really were. They were actually pretty cool people. I just knew I couldn't do that and enjoy my life at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And work was hard. It made work harder.
Oh my! Yeah. So what would happen if you?
I wouldn't party with them if I had to work next day.
But if the next day after that, would you be on point? Would be kind of hard. You'd be kind of out of it.
I would make sure I didn't do it if I was working. They wouldn't give a fuck.
So Buck would come to work high or
no, he would never be high then. But he'd be able to perform. Great. Yeah.
The next day.
Yeah. He was fine. But it was a crazy time. That was a crazy, crazy time.
So what is because I asked this question before, PT asked a lot of people, what is your drug of choice when you have sex?
Now?
No, but
you know what, dude?
All time.
Nothing. I couldn't have sex on drugs. I didn't really want to have sex when I was partying.
No?
Nah. Yeah, if I was straight, it was the easiest. Enjoy, even in private, I didn't want to be on coke. Mm-hmm. It was a different drug back then. It was more of a fun party. Everyone talked forever. Right. So.
Okay. So you really don't have a drug of choice for sex?
No, none. I smoke weed. Weed is probably the best.
Back then too?
Yeah. I didn't smoke that much weed back then because it was, drugs were a new thing back then. They weren't okay to do, Mm-hmm. Porn wasn't okay and drugs weren't okay in the 80s. You know what I mean? It was Ronald Reagan was the president. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Drugs are going to kill you.
Yeah, well,
So.
It was a kind of freer thought in some ways, a freer, mind. But then in some ways it wasn't. So it's very strange. I wonder, does it all balance out in the yin and yang? You never know for sure because today things aren't so balanced out. Because you just don't know,
But that was a good time. That was like 86. So you're saying, why did I quit? Why did I quit doing porn?
So you quit. Oh, okay.
Well, I lived there January, February, March. So then I go to Palm Springs and I meet Steve, my buddy Steve from New York, the guy that Miles that worked for Jerry T introduced me to. He's like, hey, bro, come on down. We'll go to Chippendales and hang out. I was like, you go to Chippendales, dude? He goes, dude, it's my club. I live on Driftwood Beach where all the guys live. Mark Davis, he lived on Catamaran. Steve lived on Driftwood, which is the next street.
So Steve was a stripper too?
Steve, I don't know him at the time, but I would see him at the beach, at Driftwood Beach it was called, in Marina Del Rey. Steve at this time when I first started there, he was a host, he was a waiter. Okay. But if one of the guys dancing wasn't there, didn't show up, he would be able to get in the show because he was at that level. I mean, he was Mr. Chippendale. He was probably, I'll be honest with you, probably the best looking guy. Good looking motherfuckers worked there. And he was probably the best one. He was the best.
We have to recognize Mark Davis in porno. Mark Davis in porno could just probably smile at a girl, any of the girls in the business, and they probably go, hi, Mark, right? And Mark is the nicest guy.
Nicest.
But I have to say that there were some girls that I liked, and they were hanging on him. I was like, fuck.
He didn't even have to say anything. He was so, but you know what? He was such a nice guy. And back then, he was the youngest guy, probably besides me, that worked in the club. Oh, yeah? And he seemed like the oldest. because he was so mature, so cool to everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. No ego. And he could have had an ego because, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
If I had the look he had, man, I would have been like, hey, you know,
shredded. This dude was shredded.
I do think he did take advantage of his looks because he had a lot of girls, right? He didn't take it for granted. I mean,
But he was always humble. Believe it or not, he never made you feel less of a man. Yeah. Never.
When I say take advantage, I don't mean take advantage in a bad way. I mean,
situation with girls.
Yeah, he's fucking a good-looking guy. And he loves the women, and he made sure that he got the women.
Right. He
wasn't fucking around. So yeah, Mark Davis is
great guy.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
So I go to Chippendales with my buddy Steve. Now, his other roommate at the time, you're going to know the guy. You remember Colt Steele?
Yeah.
Colt Steele, Kevin. Kevin was his name. He was his roommate. He was a dancer at Chippendales. He was in the show. He was probably the best guy. Probably the best guy in the club.
Really?
Yeah. He was stud. Oh, my God.
The girls liked him?
Loved him. Mark Davis and Kevin were probably the two loved him. But right then, when I moved down there, he and Mark Davis went to, I believe it was Denver, because they opened a club there. So they went there and worked. So they left the club. But Mark still worked in the club when I got there. So my goal was, I'm going to still do porn to make money, to be able to get in good enough shape to get a job there. Because you had to be in phenomenal shape.
Is there more money there?
No.
There
was no money there.
More pussy.
Tons. Again, it wasn't about and it should have been. I'm leaving porn at that time, you're making, way over 1,000 a week because you know what I mean? If you do 2 movies, you make 1,000 because you're getting $500 a day to do 2 scenes. So really, it's
by that time it's per scene because originally it was day rate.
This is still 86. It's still day rate.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I'm doing movies to make money to be able to work out and lay on the beach to get in shape to work at Chippendales. Where there's no money.
So you just want to chase the pussy.
That's one of the girls.
And Mark was just love the pussy too, huh?
Well, I don't know. I'm seeing this guy on the beach at Driftwood Beach, it was called. And during the day, it was all the people from Chippendales, all the girls that would go there, and all the guys would hang out on this beach in Marina Del Rey. Wow. D Street, Driftwood, right? I think Steve lived on Catamaran, which was one street over. So they'd all hang out there. I finally get a job at Chippendales, finally get a job as a host. Number one, I'm working with, what's her name? Lynn Germelito, which was Candy Evans' boyfriend. Uncomfortable because I don't know if he knows that I'm in the movies with her, right?
Oh, you fucked her.
I don't think I only got to work with her once or twice because Peter got to work with her most of the time because she liked him.
How beautiful, how hot was she?
So beautiful.
Hard body too, right?
She was tan, a little girl from Agoura Hills. Beautiful.
That's like the girl.
You remember?
It's like my girl Amy. Almost the same.
Very similar
thing.
to Amy because I remember. I saw Amy at a club. At a club that used to be off of Topanga and Ventura Boulevard back in the corner of the shopping center. You know what I'm talking about?
Kind of.
By the Ralphs. There's a Ralphs and a Bonds right there. There's a nightclub there. This is years ago.
The restaurant. You talking about the restaurant that Rob Spallone works at?
No, it wasn't a restaurant. It was some club back in the corner. I forgot what it's called anyway. So she was there. And this is years later.
Not Monty's.
No. Across the street by the grocery store. And I knew because when you and I lived together, you were breaking up with her. So the heartache that you were going through, you would talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew who she was and everything.
She came to our apartment one time.
She came to our apartment one time.
She was fucking...
beautiful.
Fucking...
This girl was beautiful.
Body.
Beautiful.
Hair, skin.
Wasn't in porn. Was not a porn girl.
Fat pussy. Yeah,
I don't know about that, but...
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. So she walks by and the guy I'm with is like... She goes, hey, Chuck, what's going on? She walks by and he's like, oh my God, that girl's so beautiful. I'm like, guess what? We're leaving. He's like, where are we going? I want to talk to her. I said, no, you don't. I go, in fact, I don't even want to be in this club with her and have it get back to my buddy that I'm even in the vicinity of her because I don't even know what stories girls are going to tell, right? I just knew better with you. I knew that was the one girl. Don't even go near her. Don't even look at her.
That was kind of...
She came to our apartment and I was afraid to even look at her. And I was your friend, so you wouldn't have done anything, but I wouldn't even look at her. I think I even went upstairs because you were...
I was kind of weird about her.
You were very weird. Kind of? You're kind of weird about it. You know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was kind of.
She was a beautiful girl. Anyway, so I get a job at Chippendales. First night I'm there. During the show, what you wanted to do was get the girls to go in the bathroom. Now, I go back my first night, and it was a back hallway. There's a guy's bathroom, girl's bathroom, right? I walk in the guy's bathroom, and all the hosts and waiters are looking over the stalls, and they're underneath the stalls looking up. What the fuck is going on? Oh, so-and-so's getting laid in there right now. So they take the girls back to the bed. Because the girls would be like, take me to the bathroom. They were horny. I mean, that's just how the 80s were. It was a free-for-all.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's just the 80s. It's probably the 70s. Probably
definitely
probably the 60s.
Definitely.
You know, I think it's just recently that the mentality is like changing, which, you know, it breaks my heart. But anyways, keep going.
So Mark Davis is there. He's working there now, right? So this girl says to me, I'm walking back, and she's in the girls' line. She goes, hey, can you take me to go in the guys' bathroom? She was at one of the tables, you know, I was talking to. The job as a host was to talk to like 300 girls before the show just to keep them drinking and talking and getting warmed up. So I walk back there with her. She goes, no, you can come in with me. So I go in, and instantly she starts blowing me. And I look up, and like all the hosts, and I look down, they're all below. So I get done.
What the fuck?
The door comes crashing open. Hey, buddy, I'm Steve Scott. How you doing, man?
Steve Scott.
I'm called the Stall King. I'm the Stall King.
Oh, yeah?
They called him the Stall King, right? He got more girls than anybody. That was my introduction. Hey.
Mark Davis.
Hey, I'm the Stall King. What's up, bro? And
he said, I'm the Stall King?
I'm the Stall King. Mark, I'm like, Steve, what's up, bro? I'm like, I see you from the beach. And the girl's like, oh, come here. He was their waiter. So the girl that I was with, that was at one of his tables. He was giving him drinks. She goes, oh, no, I know him. Stay in here. So I go out, and I leave Mark stay in there. So that was my introduction to first meeting him.
Do you see his interview? Did you watch it?
I don't remember what the things he said. I saw some of it. But he was the king. He was the king of Chippendales. But again, I'm working there for no money, just for the girls, and quit porn. So that's why I quit porn. I just started working there, and I worked, you know.
And so how many moves did you do your first run? Sounds like Christy Canyon's tour. She kind of did something, and she left.
She did the same thing. She left about the same. The difference was they all came back a lot quicker than I did. I stayed gone till 82. From 92. 86 to 92. We worked at Chippendales, then we went on tour to Canada, worked with Chippendales. Then my dream, I wanted to go to Le Bear in Houston, which was like Chippendales, but in Houston.
Mm-hmm. You're really into this stripping thing.
Dude, come on. You don't understand. Back then, it was unbelievable. Because Le Bear was the same thing. It was all dudes and all girls, and it was incredible. Really? Incredible. So you come back in 92, and because of monetary, you missed porno or what? I had bought a tanning salon with my buddy Steve, and we sold it after about a year because we made a pretty good profit on it. He goes, dude, go do porn again. Go back and do porn. Come on, dude, you make a lot of money. You're good at, okay, okay. So I went back to Jim's. I said, hey, Jim, I'm going to work again.
I'm back in town.
Back when to work. It's okay, great. I go, what are the guys getting paid now? He goes, well, you have to work for probably one scene for 200, two scenes for 400.
Yeah, or 500 or whatever.
No, I mean, maybe you got
two scenes for 500 maybe or whatever.
Not me.
No, okay.
Not in the beginning. Yeah. Unless I was working for someone like PT that I knew I used to work with. They would pay you. But it was different, bro. It was hard. It was hard for me. It was hard. It was really, really hard. Because I started working with Biff Malibu. Because Biff lived right down the street from me in Venice. Right. So he's like, Chuck, he'd call me, come over and do a scene. And they were all amateurs and gonzos. Oh, yeah. And I wasn't used to that. I was used to, everything was features and stills. Now it's amateurs and gonzo. For him. Well, there was a lot of it. A lot of stuff being shot was gonzo at this time. Gonzo just started.
Not for me, you know what I mean?
Not for you.
I was on all the features.
There were the features, but then there was also gonzo was just coming in, right?
A little bit, right.
Hard to get on features. For me, because I'll be honest with you, Phil, not for you because you were at a different level, but coming back in the industry and dealing with these directors that got no respect, that think they're tough shit. I respect the directors that worked in the business. PT back then, Eric Edwards, these people, they were actors, so I had respect for them, and they were cool.
John Leslie, yeah.
John Leslie, for sure. But there's guys like, I don't mean to blow people up. Like, I know you loved him with Jay Shanahan. I know you loved him because he used you all the time. I couldn't sit on the Jay set and deal with that ego. To me, I'd be like, motherfucker, do the fucking scenes and start here and grind it. Then I can, you know what I mean? And you couldn't act like that or you wouldn't get hired. Yeah. So I couldn't kiss ass. And so luckily I met Kevin Beecham about this time. And it was difficult. And I wasn't sure if I was going to stay doing it. You know what I mean? Because it was hard. I think I hooked up with you right after this when I moved in with Buck. So I moved out to the Valley, right across from Kevin with Dusty. Had a place right across the way. And I went to work for Kevin in his K Beach.
So you do some scenes, but it's not...
Still doing scenes.
Still doing scenes. But you don't like it.
It was just different. It was different than what I was used to, and I'm trying to get my footing. You know what I mean? Trying to see where you fit in. Because it's all different people.
Gotta feel kind of weird, huh?
It's even Peter's not working that much at this time. I mean, he's starting to do his own stuff.
92, No. Al didn't start his own stuff until about 98.
It didn't seem like he was working a lot then. Yeah. Now it seemed like you were working every day. Al was living down in Orange County, so he kind of was a little more low key.
I wanted to work. You know what I mean? I'll take everything.
Well, you were on every set.
I would happy to. Thank you. I'll take the money, the pussy, and I'm gone.
Dude, next set. I know that we both did scenes for video exclusives for $125, $150, right?
You know what?
Right? All day long.
And I was happy.
Loved it.
Not happy, but I didn't go working for video exclusives after that. But in 90, 91, I just don't think I was there in 92.
Well, you remember, right? Because Mark Carrier at that time owned the biggest mail order company. Bigger than Adam and Eve? Yes, because back in this day, him and Tina Marie, his wife, lived in Indiana. They would fly here. And remember Rex? Rex is a guy who used to get chicks from Mark.
All right, Rex is another land shark. He had a hell of a tongue.
I was Rex for Mark before Rex was Rex.
Whoa, really?
So Mark would fly here. Mark would fly here with Tina Marie.
Right? You were getting girls for Mark?
No. Back then, Mark didn't do that because he was married to Tina Marie, but I'd get girls for the movies, for his movies. He'd come out here and he'd have Ron Jeremy direct the movies, and he'd come out here for like 2 weeks, stay at the Holiday Inn in Burbank, right off the freeway there, off the 5. And
what year is this?
85.
Oh, it's 85. But
all of 85 and 86 too. This is when they were doing mail order.
Because when I worked for him in 1990, 91, 92, he was already there.
Already there. But this is back when Christy Canyon, every movie, that was their favorite girl. Every
he liked big tits, didn't he?
Every movie. She was their favorite. That was Tracy too, their favorite too. So that was back in those days. But they even paid good back then, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you worked from when you came back, you mean?
So then you come back and Rex is there. And I'm thinking.
Smooth.
Loved him. Nice guy.
Love that guy.
I hung out with him. But here's the problem. He's trying to pay me $150 to do a scene.
Fuck, I was happy.
I know, but I ended up being happy with it too. But I went to Mark. I'm like, Mark, what the fuck is going on? This dude is like, I used to do this, and now he wants to pay me $150. So he brought Rex in, and we worked it out. He goes, listen, we do a ton of loops. We do a ton of scenes a month, like 30 scenes a month he probably shot. I'll promise to give you 10 scenes. Yeah. I'll probably give you 10 scenes a month, and I'll pay you $250. I said, that'd be great. Yeah. And Rex was so fun. But that's what I mean. It was different to come back and have to go all the way to the bottom, right? But that's the way it is. That's life, right?
It's scary, yeah.
So at least working for Kevin, I got to sell and I got to see what the other side was all about.
So you work for Kevin as an actor because he produced some movies?
No,
or
I walked into Kevin's one day to sell a movie for a guy named Dick Nasty.
Kevin Beach,
owned K Beach Video.
K Beach Video. A distributor who we might get on the show.
You'd love him.
Been around forever.
The best.
Good guy.
Tough motherfucker.
Tough. Rough. Big.
The baddest. Yeah. I could store. Oh my God. Anyway, so I go to Kevin to sell this movie for Biff and Dick Nasty. I didn't know who he was. He goes, I've seen you before. You're in the movies. I go, yeah. He goes, well, I have Mark Snyder and Buck shoot my movies. Let's give him a call, get in some of our movies. I go, oh, cool. So a little while later, we're at the award show in the summertime, right? There's a summer show in Vegas.
92, you're saying? 93?
93.
Okay.
93. Summer 93. So I go to the convention. I didn't know it's a convention. I'm up there on vacation, right? And I'm laying out over at the at Bally's, not realizing that's where the convention was. And Kevin's there. And he's like, hey, dude, what are you doing? He goes, listen, go get your stuff from wherever you're at. You come stay with me, and we'll hang out. My wife's going home tonight. You know, we'll hang out with all my boys are coming in town. He'd bring all of his guys in and just have a blast in Vegas at all the shows. Funnest guy ever to hang out with, first of all.
I like him. He eat glass. He'll eat glass. Hell's Angel. Have all the Hell's Angels with him.
But you know what? The nicest guys in the world. Nicest guys.
All right.
I ended up being able to be friends with him, you know, because of him. Mm-hmm. So I meet him, and we're in Vegas, and we go to a place called Olympic Gardens. Strip club. With all his boys. So back then, the booths were like this, right? Like a U. And the girl's sitting back in the back, and it's one of his buddies on one side, and I'm on the other side, and Kevin's next to me. So I'm playing with the girl under the table, right? So is the other guy. He's feeling my hand. I'm like, dude, come on. So she says, I got to leave. I got to go home back to San Diego in the morning. So I'm going to leave. It's like midnight. And she goes, do you want to come over? I'm staying at a hotel like 2 buildings down. I said, come bring my buddy. She goes, yeah, you can bring your buddy.
Who's your buddy, Kevin?
Kevin. So she leaves. I go, Kev, come on, bro. He goes, where are we going? I go, come on. So we start walking down Las Vegas Boulevard. He goes, we didn't know me a whole lot then, but he's just fun. He's up for the party. I go, come on, we're going to fuck that girl. He goes, come on. Really? We go walking up the hotel room, seedy hotel, you know, the ones you drive up to, the Motel 6s. Uh-huh. We knock on the door, and the door goes up, and the girl's masturbating on the bed. And Kevin looks at me, and I look at him like, they go, come on. She goes, come on in. So we both go in. We're both laying on the bed next to her on each side. Phil, for 3 hours, we were, go in the bathroom. And he'd look at me, you go in the bathroom. No, you go in the bathroom. Back and forth. So finally I go in the bathroom, because Kevin wasn't like that. He didn't, you know, he was an exhibitionist, you know, he's a businessman, right? Yeah. Long story short, it's 6 a.m, and we're walking down on 120-degree weather in Las Vegas Boulevard, sweating our ass off, looking at each other like, did this just happen? So that was my first.
Well, for you, is it?
That was my, yeah. But to Kevin, he was like, I mean, it was so much fun. I mean, he'll tell you the same story. It's just, he is a great, great guy. I mean, I have to say, out of the most influential person for me would have to be him.
Really?
Oh my goodness, the things he did for me, I couldn't thank him enough. You know what I mean? Just. He showed, I just listened to everything that he would do. And he's a tough badass, but he's smart as fuck. Very smart.
I'd say he's pretty intelligent, yeah.
Really smart businessman. So those were good times.
So I want to bring up a point, right? And see what you think about this. When the life of, we're going to compare the life of porno, right? We're going to say that porno for America kind of started in the 70s, the beginning 70s. So we will say that porno in the 70s was kind of like a baby, almost a baby, 1 through 10.
Now, this is back before video.
Right. Just saying, we're just going to go down. So 70s were like the baby years, you know,
right.
Just growing up, right? Just learning, right? A child. 80s through 90s is more like puberty, hit puberty, and now is a teenager having fun, right?
Right.
And the 90s is like the roaring 20s. They're 20s, they're out having fun. It's a whole wild, it's more energy, more stuff or going on. And then the 2000s, it's its 30s.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So now they're getting more mature. Things are changing a little bit. And the teens, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 20, they're 40 years old. They're in their 40s.
Right.
Now, 2020 and this next decade will be the 50s. They've already seen everything.
Right.
Porno is not young and fresh. It's getting, it's almost like I've already seen this and done that. It's already burnt. Do you see it like that at all?
100%. There was not all the anal. It was like every scene was anal in the late 90s, 2000s, right? Back in the 80s, very rarely did you do anal.
Yeah. But it was fresh. Everything was fresh in those
Everything.
in different years. But by the end of the 90s, the freshness, you're already like 30 years old. You're losing a little bit of your freshness.
Totally. But you didn't. I didn't see you slowing down.
No, I didn't slow down.
I know. I was. Well, you know, Phil, what happened when I came back in, I'm trying to find my footing. I realized there was no way I could keep up with the scenes you're doing, Mark Davis. That just wasn't where I mean, I'm realistic, dude. I'm not thinking I'm better than anybody. I knew I wasn't, right? Now it's about the money. So I went into producing and directing, and that's where I just got to do Fillmore Butts. I started doing that. From you did Seymour's first movie too. I know you were on the side. I was with Bianca Trump, and I know you were in the first movie also.
I love Bianca Trump. That pussy is the fattest pussy. She was great. I did tell you a story about Bianca Trump.
How great was she?
She was unbelievable. She did a scene over at my apartment over there on Reseda, right? Me and Buck, that's where Buck was staying. And I fucked her good, and then I think she wanted to stay the night. I fucked her all night long, whatever, right? And she calls her boyfriend up the next morning and says, go back home to Washington, fuck off. I mean, yeah. She said that, right?
She's great. She was great.
She was unbelievable. But anyways, I want to get to some more questions. So let's see. Did you ever work on a set with John Holmes?
Yes. I did a hardcore still shoot. This is after he got out of prison. It was with me, John Holmes, and Susie Campana was her name. Oh, yeah? A little Mexican girl, hot as hell. And it was a three-way. Yeah, it was a three-way.
Oh, so there.
Cool guy.
How big was his dick?
Oh my God.
I mean, because people talk a lot. Let's say this. A lot of people actually believe, because they listen to Google that knows nothing about the fucking facts, think that, the biggest dick is 10 inches, 10 and a half inches. I mean,
this dude's, it looked like my arm, like from my elbow. It was intimidating. I mean, but I'm starstruck, come on.
Yeah.
And he was really cool. So, and at this time, he can't get his dick all that hard because he's older. You know what I mean? He's out of prison. He's older. So it's rough for him, but he still did the job just fine. But I mean, it was kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it must have been fucking great. How big was his dick? 12, 13, 14 inches? What do you think?
Probably 12 inches.
12 inches?
But it's like a big bottle.
And he couldn't get it hard.
So big.
So maybe it was bigger when he was younger.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way it is.
He was the guy in the porn theater when I was a kid in high school that was in the movies then. And it was much bigger back then, but he was much younger.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still did great.
12, 13 inches, no problem.
No problem.
Okay. So everybody knows that?
No problem.
Say it.
Yeah, at least 12 inches.
At least 12 inches.
At least.
At least.
But big.
Super thick. You ever see Mandingo?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Bigger.
Bigger than Mandingo.
Thicker. Not as long.
Not as long?
But thicker.
Thicker than Mandingo. Because I work side by side with Mandingo.
Yeah, thicker.
And that's a fucking,
Thicker than Mandingo, but not as long.
Not as long as Mandingo.
The movies I've seen Mandingo in, I've never seen him up in person.
Oh, you haven't seen him in person?
Never. I've seen him in the movie. In scenes.
All right. But he was a cool dude. I heard he was really nice.
Super cool.
Ginger Lynn said he was really nice. A lot of people said he's really nice. Eric Edwards said he's a dick.
Did he? Yeah.
I like Eric Edwards.
Eric Edwards is super cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Again, that might have been a little competition back then.
Really? Okay.
I mean, you never know. They were the older guys back then. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. How many girls do you think you had sex with your whole life?
God, it's all the nights. It's all the stripping is where you got laid all the time. Not even the movies too, but the stripping, it's every night. I mean.
So what do you estimate?
Thousands.
2,000, 3,000, 5,000?
6,000.
5,000?
Probably.
Okay. So you've told me is there any other wild stories that you want to say that you've seen on a set?
Jeez.
Anything that comes up, that hits you really hard? Anything crazy? Any fights? Any?
In the days when we go to San Francisco, we go out at night, right? After it was over. So one night, Ron Jeremy says to me, I'm going to take you to this comedy club called Cobb's Comedy Club. Still there, Cobb's. He goes, I'm going to go meet Robin Williams. Like, you're friends with Robin Williams? Back in the Mork and Mindy days. Right?
Well, he's not such a superstar yet, but popular.
Popular. Everyone knew who he was, right? Yeah. He goes, we're going to go watch a guy that he calls the White Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course.
So we go to Cobb's, we watch the show, and then afterwards we go to a diner. And we're sitting at the diner, And Robin Williams takes the ashtray, flips over the ashtray, takes out some Coke, starts laying out lines on the ashtray.
Really?
Yeah. I was just like, holy shit. And this is before the Jerry T thing and everything. So the Coke thing, I was like so paranoid. I was like, well, you guys are doing this right here. I got this Robin Williams. This Robin, Sam Kinison. Holy shit.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
And, you know, Ron Jeremy didn't partake. He was like, oh my God, you guys are doing that right here. Right in a lit up diner. Like there's no problem.
That's cool. Ron Williams seemed like a nice guy.
Super nice. Super nice. Sam, super nice.
Super nice, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, nice. Yeah, they seem like cool guys.
It's like Ron Jeremy had all the hookups with everyone back then. He knew everybody.
Yeah. Over the years, right, from when you started to now, but you're not really in the business now, but when was the last time you were part of the business?
I shot my last like film or butts movie in 2003.
Oh, so that was the end of you being in the business?
Well, what happened was, you know, Seymour and Rita, or the owner of Sunshine, had to go to court, you know, for the big court case.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's when it kind of ended there. But
So that's...
oh, but it means, you know, it's unbelievable. I hear people talk about Joseph and Rita, and it's like, I mean, to me, they were so good to me. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I was saying. I came back in, I didn't know where to go, and I didn't want to. I knew I couldn't keep up with you guys, so that's when she let me start shooting. Called me to do Fillmore and Butts because Seymour left and went to, you know, his own company doing his own stuff. So she kind of is the one that gave me, you know, a break. You know, once she's given me 3 movies to shoot a month, and I said, okay, the directing and producing, that's more my thing. And then I couldn't, and I did the scenes then, but again, you're doing scenes in your own movie, so the comfortability, the girl you're working with.
Oh, yeah.
I could pick whatever girl. I could do
Way easier.
on a bed, right? So I'm doing scenes like you, not like you, but you know what I'm saying. Much better scenes, right? But I'm doing, you know, you're getting to work with who you want to work with. So,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, back then that's where the money was anyway, in producing. Back at this time, this is the early. This is 90, 97, 98, 99, 96. All those. That's right.
Did you see any difference from the 80s attitude of the women to the 2000s attitude of the women?
Totally different.
Totally different?
Totally different.
What's the
A
difference?
big difference from the 90s, from the late 90s. It just got a lot more professional. You know, in the 80s, the girl would help you. You know what I mean? You're working together. You're working together. But it was almost like you're having sex like it's real. And then they just turn the cameras on. I think when I came back, it wasn't like that. It was different. I mean, sure, if you're working with a girl you really like, it's really good. But it isn't. At least when I came back, it was never like that. I mean, very rarely. You work with who they tell you to work with, or you don't work, right?
Yeah, so you were kind of touchy with that kind of mentality.
Yeah, it blows you. It kind of blows because I'm used to how it used to be. You know what I mean? That's where my brain was. And then you got to wrap your head around. Wait a second, it's not like this no more. You know what I mean? I got to do it a different way.
Which girl gave the best blowjob?
Traci Lords.
Really?
Amber Lynn.
Amber Lynn and Traci Lords?
Amber Lynn.
Traci Lords, Amber Lynn, or Amber Lynn, Traci Lords?
Amber Lynn, Traci Lords.
All right. So they were the great. Of all the blowjobs you got.
Yeah.
Really?
Amber, God, she was so beautiful.
Really? She was so
hot. Traci Lords was, you know, back then there was battery packs that were on the big cameras, because they're big cameras, and they'd go out in the middle of the scene. And Traci Lords would be like, don't you stop fucking me.
Really?
Fuck that. That's why when she says I didn't know what I was doing, I'm like, you knew what you were doing that day. A lot of days. I saw you work for the Dark Brothers. The Dark Brothers make you do shit that, come on, they make you do crazy stuff, right? You got to know what you're doing. And she worked for them all the time.
Greg Dark told me a little secret, but I'm not going to divulge it, about Traci Lords.
He was so cool. He was such a cool guy to work. Weirdo. I mean, weird stuff, but just a really cool guy.
I like him.
Really cool guy. You know what he used to do when he'd hire you? In order to get in one of his movies, he'd take you into Jim's other room, the one that Jim was in the end. Because in the beginning, Jim was in the small office. He'd take you in there and make you talk dirty to his girlfriend. That's how you got in this movie.
Wow, really?
Talk dirty to my girlfriend. Tell her how you want to fuck her. And I'm like, I can't, dude, it's your girlfriend. I don't care. I'm a sick fucker.
Really?
You know how he is.
I mean,
Talented guy, talented.
I just, they just called me up and I went to work. I was a popular guy, so I guess I just went to work. You know what I mean?
You work for him, right?
Yeah. No, that's why I showed up on a set. I heard of Dark Brothers, and I think the first movie was Between the Cheeks, #2.
I did Between the Cheeks. Only scene I ever got to work with Ginger Lynn, Between the Cheeks #1, with Mark Wallace, Tom Byron, and myself.
I was in.
Only time.
Ironically, I was in the scene. Me and Tom did a scene with probably Bianca. I think it was Bianca.
Really?
I love Bianca.
Is Bruce Evans Bianca?
Yeah, Bruce Evans Bianca.
Super nice.
Wow.
So nice, though. She's such a nice
That
girl.
pussy. Yeah. She's just something about her made me crazy.
So nice. So cool.
So, but something for me, you know, the sexual energy.
Right.
All right, so let's go. This is a question I want to ask you. I mean, I know the answer, but the truth is, do you know the difference between the girl's pussy walls and a tight pussy and a sandpaper pussy, and the fact this also comes into play that if you like the girl and you have a chemistry, the pussy actually feels better? You understand all these things?
Yeah. If you're into the girl, the pussy feels amazing, kind of no matter what. But you're probably not going to be into her like that if it doesn't feel good.
Well, you could be into the girl, and the first 5 to 10 minutes can feel amazing. But as the time goes on, fucking her, the pussy, if it's not on point, can...
That's true, but the lube would fuck me up. Lube would fuck me up, to be honest with you. Not the pussy. Pussy's always felt pretty good.
Really? So you don't really know the difference between the great pussy differences?
Always felt good.
Wow. Okay. See, not everybody knows that.
You're a little more connoisseur about it.
I'm way out there.
Again, you worked so much more than any of us, so you got to get into all that mental stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a lot of experience. This is a tricky one because Chuck is kinky. And we're going to exploit his kinkiness right now because I know that he is, and now I understand because it goes way back to Standard shoes and maybe even before that. Chuck is a kinky or has a kinky foot fetish. And I think you could actually bust a nut. I think you told me a girl jacking you off under a restaurant table.
Yep.
You might have busted a nut. You are crazy about feet.
Cute feet.
What do they do?
Cute feet. And I guess it does go back to those days. I never, ever understood it because I got to say, when I first met Christy Canyon, the first thing I thought was, wow, you got some really cute feet. Holy shit. You got some pretty hands and pretty feet. And what's weird is when you did the interview with her, I'm watching the interview and I'm looking at her hands. They still look beautiful. They still look so beautiful. Hands look exactly the same. You never notice how pretty hands she has?
I can't remember, but I am into girls with pretty hands. I do not like girls with small, weak, scrawny hands. It kind of does something to me.
Right. No, I agree. No, she has beautiful hands. But I first met her, it wasn't anything else but, wow, she has the cutest feet. And I say to Jim South all the time, and he goes, oh, dude, you are weird.
That's for me, it's weird.
In fact, that scene I told you about where she was standing over there, I was looking at her feet over the couch. That's what was getting me hard.
That's crazy as fuck. So who has the prettiest feet you ever fucked on camera?
Her.
Chrissy Canyon.
And I only worked with her a handful of times probably back in those days. But absolutely. Cutest feet. Pretty painted toenails. Pretty pink painted toenails back then.
Did any of the girls that you had anal sex with in the past have better ass, you might say, or is it all the same to you?
You know, truthfully, I hated anal. So I didn't do very many anal scenes. If I was going to say I didn't want to work, it was usually because they said you have to do anal. I could probably count on, I don't think I did more probably than 20, 30 anal scenes.
Wow.
Seymour was the only one I was really doing anal scenes for because all of his scenes were anal, right? It just, I don't know, it just wasn't my thing. Because it wasn't fun to do something the girl wouldn't enjoy. And I didn't think they were enjoying anal.
I'm with you kind of.
Right.
But I did a lot of anal scenes. But
Well, because when we hired you, we'd always make you do anal and we'd make you fuck in the hardest places. Like if I hired you, very rarely was I going to let you fuck on a bed. Why? Why should I? I get to let other guys fuck in a bed. I know that you can go fuck outside, so I'll put you in the hardest place, right? So I'm guessing most of your scenes were in hard places.
they put me in the freezing weather. They put me in the hot desert on a rock when it's
Buck,
already hot.
Hey, Buck used to put, Buck, we're in the desert. It's 2 a.m. and you're fucking outside. I'm like, you're making me fucking say, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That's right. You were on a movie, I think, with us one time. We're out in the desert, right?
Called Renegades. With Rebecca Wild.
With Rebecca Wild. But there was a movie I did, and I was doing backflips in the middle of the desert with dress shoes on, walking around like I was crazy doing. Did you see that?
It was for Western Visuals.
No, it was for Sin City. Yeah. His camera. It was for Buck. Sin City movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wait, maybe we did a few. He did a lot of desert movies back then.
But I was in dress shoes doing backflips.
Dude, you used to always show up with dress shoes and sport shirts, and then you do shit that you would only usually do in tennis shoes, but you'd be doing them in dress clothes.
I could do backflips and do like a 4 feet off the ground doing backflips.
You used to do that and you used to go sprint. You'd do wind sprints. I'm like, why is he doing Buck? What the fuck is he doing wind sprints for? Did Buck live with you too?
Yeah, for 6 months.
Because later on he goes, can I stay with you tonight? And whenever Buck said, can I stay with you?
He stayed 6 months.
You're looking for 6 months.
You'd be sitting there on the ground smoking crack, smoking a cigarette, smoking weed, drinking whiskey.
In a little cup, he'd be ash. I'm like, Buck, don't burn down our apartment, bro. Please, 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 please.
You ever catch anything in the biz? Any special gifts?
Sure I did. I'm sure I got gonorrhea a couple times. Went and saw Dr. Riggs. And he said, you go see Dr. Riggs. He fixes you up, right? Uh-huh. You know what? It was pretty, in the 80s, never.
Oh, yeah?
Never.
Okay.
Never. It was only in the 90s that it started getting a little crazy.
So any movies right now? I thought you said one that, you thought was great. Is there any other movies that stand out that you did, that you were in, that were just, hit the back of your mind saying, I love that movie?
You know what? I'd say my favorite one is The Devil and Miss Jones: A New Beginning, because it was Vanessa Del Rio.
How was that pussy?
And, she had the biggest clit you've ever fucking seen.
So she was more sensitive to coming.
She was amazing.
Yeah?
But I was so young and so into her.
Yeah. She pretty?
I thought she would. But I like Puerto Rican Spanish girls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're a Spanish girl, you don't have to be a 10. You could be a 6 and be a 10. You know what I'm saying?
She was hot though, huh? Horny.
And we never got to work with her because she was never here. She's in New York.
I wonder sometimes if that Spanish blood is really as hot as they say. I'm Spanish.
With her, it was.
I'm Puerto Rican, right? I'm Spanish. So I wonder. You wonder. I
think some of the hottest girls that I've had sex with have been Latin girls. Still to this day, they are
hot, right?
Yes,
horny, like heat. It's not like they're hot looking. It's the heat on them.
It's when they forget the camera's there.
Yeah, they just want to fuck. So I have a list of girls here. All right, I want to see if you fucked them. We'll just a brief synopsis of them real quick or what you thought of them.
All right.
So here we go. Down the row. These are the 80s girls. So those are girls that I dreamt about, jacked off to. All right?
Do I tell the truth or do I be like...
Tell the fucking truth.
Do I tell the truth or do I talk like you love all these people? And I know you don't. Fucking liar.
No, I love most of you.
Hey, believe me.
All right, this is the...
He's very humble now.
Nobody can handle the real...
He wasn't always like this.
Nobody can handle the real TT.
No, they can't. You can't tell the truth on here.
No, but I don't... Yeah. If I don't say something, if I don't like something, I just don't say it. No.
Well, you know what? That's how you should be anyway, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah, tell me the truth. The one girl that I fucking used to look at, I said, oh my God, her fat pussy, blonde-haired fat pussy, and hard-bodied Danielle.
Never worked with her.
Oh my God.
Was on a set with her, but didn't work with her.
She looked sexy?
Sexy, blonde hair, like a surfer girl, really pretty.
She looked
really pretty.
But you saw that fat pussy at all? No?
Never got to work.
All right. Of course, Blondie. Do you ever work with Blondie? She looked unbelievable.
No, because she was a Tony. I was out of the business. When he brought her back in, I was gone.
Crystal Breeze.
Oh, the best.
She looked Spanish or something?
She was with Reb, too. That was a Reb girl.
She was hot.
I had to wait to go to Reb to work with her.
She was hot?
Hot.
Good pussy?
Beautiful.
She looked something, right?
Beautiful. I think John Johnson was the guy's name. That was her boyfriend the whole time.
Okay.
Cock blocker.
Oh, really? But you fucked her?
Yeah.
But because she had that hot look or something.
Sexy.
Pretty, right?
Very.
Right. Taj Ray, you already said. Angel Kelly.
Black girl Angel Kelly.
Yep.
Peter North and I worked in an all-black movie for Ron Jeremy at that swing house in Malibu up on the hill. And it had the girl that used to be there, the woman that was in the swing. I'm sure you've either fucked her or she wanted to fuck you. Dark hair. Her name was Karen, I think was her name.
I think I'm...
Up Big Rock. If you go up Big Rock, it was that house right up there overlooking the beach. Yeah. All black movie, and she was in the movie, and me and Al were the only two guys, and we were black girls the whole entire movie. Oh. All Jeannie Pepper, I think, was there. Who was the other one? There was one other one that was really...
Not Sahara.
She was hot also.
Oh, she loved her.
Janet Jackme, unbelievable.
No, that's a different time, though. But Angel Kelly and Janet Jackme are far away from each other.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I was thinking about that type of girl.
Janet Jackme is just unbelievable.
Yeah, Angel Kelly, you know what's funny? Really nice. Super nice girl.
She looked beautiful.
Sahara, beautiful.
No, Sahara looked insane.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, right? And she had a fat pussy. Yeah. She looked just so sexy, right? Like a real, oh my God.
Totally. And you know what? It seemed like she liked it too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, she just looked like unreal.
I know Angel Kelly was into it. You know,
she looked hot.
They were fun too.
So she was great. Pussy good on Angel Kelly?
Great.
But Sahara just so pretty, right?
Oh, so pretty.
So pretty. So you fucked her?
Tall, thin. Yeah.
Once
in
or
this
twice?
movie.
Only once?
No. Peter and I would work with a lot of the black movies. There wasn't a lot of them. Yeah. They would work right with us. I mean, it wasn't separated.
So Sahara, you fucked once or twice?
A few times.
Few times?
Yeah.
Oh, so she was unbelievable?
Yeah.
To me, it was all the girls from those days. It would be, since Sahara was so pretty, even though I was crazy about Angel Kelly, Sahara looked, just the face looked so beautiful.
It's beautiful. She looked like a model.
Yeah, so beautiful. Fuck. All right, Karina Collins. I work with her, but I know she's...
That was Jerry T's girl.
Oh, yeah?
Well, not his girl, but I mean his favorite girl that he'd hire in every movie. She was awesome.
She was horny, great.
You see, you're naming these girls. I was the only guy that was the same age as they were.
Oh, yeah?
So she'd be fucking the big guys.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Thomas, John Leslie.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So when we got to work with her, it was in a different type of set. It wasn't the big movies because they got to work with her in the big movies.
She was hot. I worked with her. Hot.
You worked with her too?
Yeah.
She was still around?
No, she came back in the 90s.
She was hot.
Oh, she was hot as fuck.
Oh my God.
Jade East. Asian girl.
Yeah.
You fucked her?
Yeah.
Because I was jacking off to her before I got into porn. It's like, something about this girl, fat pussy, she looked not super beautiful, but just sexy.
She was the early days. She was like in the 80s.
Oh, yeah?
In the 80s, like 84, 85.
So how was it?
Great.
She looked sexy.
Into it.
Something.
She was really, really into it.
Yeah.
Her and Christara Barrington both.
Christara Barrington looks fucking beautiful.
Beautiful. Tall, Asian and white. She was something else besides Asian.
She looked beautiful.
Great sex scene.
Pussy
really nice, beautiful pussy. Everything.
She looked special.
Everything.
When I think of Christara Barrington, those big nipples and pointy tits, right? She was
something else other than Asian, though.
Oh,
she
yeah?
was Asian and white, I think.
Okay. But she looked something. She looked beautiful.
Tall,
really?
right?
5'10"?
5'9", 5'10", tall.
All right. Lily Marlene, did you work with her?
She was a little older back then. I worked on sets with her. You know what? I probably did because it was a lot of young guys and older girls back then. That was kind of the thing. So I'm sure.
She was sexy? Yeah. Okay. All right. You already said you loved Erica Boyer.
Great.
Good pussy?
Hard body. Great pussy.
Yeah. Good shape.
Even, if nowadays I knew it was a lesbian, it wouldn't be fun for me. But back then, it didn't matter because we were all such good friends. You know what I mean?
How about Marilyn Chambers?
Never got to work with her.
You see her on a set?
Never.
Okay.
I came in she wasn't really working when I came in. Okay. She was already I think Al had worked with her a couple weeks before that.
Okay.
In one of his first movies, Peter.
Ebony Eyes.
Is a black girl, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay. Shauna Grant.
Before my time.
She was
before.
Megan Leigh.
No.
She's another girl that kind of.
No, that was before.
The two girls that were the same, close.
I think that was before.
Okay. Ginger Lynn, you said you loved her.
Loved her. Didn't only work with her once, but super. She went with Vivid right away. Then
she was beautiful.
Vivid started right away when I came in, and then she was just. Right. And I didn't work for Vivid really.
All right. How about this girl? This is a girl that made me fucking jack off to her a lot of times. She just looks so like above, sexy. But Stacey Donovan. Yeah, I hit gold. What? Tell me.
She was beautiful.
Beautiful, right?
But didn't want to be there.
No?
She did. I don't think I'm going to be the only one that says that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
But at that time, I think all the other girls were so into it, and maybe she was just normal.
I heard she wasn't into it.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking maybe it's me.
But did you fuck her?
Fucked her a couple times. About two movies.
How was it?
Great. I mean, she was beautiful. So to her, I didn't care if she didn't like because she was so pretty. Right?
That's beautiful,
I mean,
right?
sometimes she was so pretty, I just look at her.
That's what I'm saying. Was she that pretty?
Yes.
So she's one of the prettiest ever?
100%. Tall, slim, nice body.
Fucking fat pussy.
Beautiful.
Who was the prettiest girl of all the girls, you think? You had to pick one. Who was the prettiest girl?
Yeah, but I want to say it's one that, I thought Christy Canyon was.
Yeah, okay. Stacey Donovan 2, 3, 4, 5? Which one?
Oh no, she was in the top 5.
Top 5, okay.
It was probably her, Amber, Ginger. Traci Lords was unbelievable, but I just wouldn't put her in the category of the other girls. I didn't think she was that pretty back then, like those girls were.
Just hot.
Just hot. Sex hot.
All right. But Stacey Donovan had that model look, right?
And you know what? I think she probably went and tried to do that afterwards. You know what I mean? Because I think that she was more suited for that.
How was Barbara Dare? You mentioned her earlier.
The best.
The best?
She was so nice.
Good pussy?
Actually, I worked in her first movie out here. And it was with Peter, myself, her, and Candy Evans. And phenomenal. And we ended up being really, really good friends when I moved down to Marina Del Rey. Because she lived in the marina too. So we'd work out at Gold's Gym together because she'd work out at Gold's Gym every day. Every day.
Really? She had a hard body, yeah.
Hard body. Every day she'd be there. Super, super smart. Super smart girl.
I work on a set.
Lesbian also, you know.
Oh, I can't remember.
She lived with her girlfriend.
Yeah, she's got a guy named Rick, right?
When I was back then, she was going with the pro baseball player from the Twins, from the Minnesota Twins, Herbeck. Clint Herbeck, I think was his name.
Yeah. Anyways, I work with her.
You work with Barbara Dare?
No, I worked with her, but only through a glass window for PT, right? So we all jacked off on a glass, but she wasn't working. That was 1989 or 1990.
She quit.
Yeah, she quit. But she was great. She was super nice.
Super nice.
She said sorry, but she was really nice about it.
Did she?
I was like, fuck, I heard of you, Barbara Dare. You know what I mean? How about Kasha, Francois' girl? Did you work with her?
She wasn't in the business back then. She came in after I left.
Okay. Care a lot.
All the time.
Right?
She used to pay guys to come to her house in Huntington Beach. And before I started doing movies, I'm stripping, doing a show in Sunset Beach in
Frisco?
Huntington Beach.
Oh.
And my buddy takes a girl out to the car and fucks the girl. It's Caroline.
So you would pay guys to fuck her?
No, I didn't know her. I hadn't done movies yet.
Oh.
My buddy, another dancer, fucked her, right?
Oh.
So I see her and I see her on a porn set. I was like, oh, you do porn? She goes, yeah. She goes, listen, I'll pay you $100. Come over to my house and jack off for me. And I want to film it because it gets me off and I can masturbate to it. So I have all the guys. I'm sure Peter did it too.
Wow,
She had most of the
really?
guys. So you go over, you jack off for her, and then you fuck her. And there's a whole thing.
Wow, care a lot, really?
Super cool. Super. And I'm thinking, do you remember this strip club? She goes, yeah, I remember. She goes, I fucked your friend. I'm like, yeah, you did.
Who? Mark?
No. His name was Neil.
Okay.
His name was Neil. Another guy in a dance group. This is before porn.
So she was hot?
Super hot. Super hot, super cool. Great fuck.
Great fuck.
Yeah.
Shauna McCullough. Redhead.
Unbelievable. In fact, we were doing a movie in San Francisco it was like an orgy scene and there was strobe lights and she ended up having an epileptic seizure in the middle of the scene, tripped everyone out, went into convulsions, her eyes rolled back. Like she wasn't on drugs. She was diabetic. Wow. Pretty sure she was diabetic. And the strobe lights made it happen. I was like, holy shit, what's going on here? But I mean, she was fantastic.
She looked hot, yeah.
In fact, I did some big film for Elliot from Western Visuals in Mexico and skiing, and she was the lead of the movie. So nice. Such a nice girl to work with.
I am. She came back, but she wouldn't work with me. Said I was too rough, but that was just like some weird bullshit.
You never got to work with her at all? She was hot, nice little bubble butt.
No, she looked great. She looked beautiful. Yeah, my style. I like redheads. But what about this girl who had a big fat pussy and looked kind of sexy, kind of a MILF? Sherry or Cheryl Taylor? You might have missed her. Maybe
Cherie Taylor. Cherie?
she was blonde, kind of.
No.
No. Okay. All right. So here we go. What male actors in those days did you think were good and were weak?
80s?
Yeah.
Well,
Let me bring the names up. Okay. Let's go. Yuri's.
want me to say
John
strong?
Leslie.
Unbelievable actor.
I'm back. Performance wise.
Unbelievable actor.
Oh really?
Unbelievable. Great actor.
Great actor. That's all you gotta say. Okay. Yeah. We love John Leslie.
Love him.
John Leslie's-
Dude, he was,
yeah.
come on. He paved the way.
Yeah, great.
Right?
But you're not saying. You're saying.
Gotta respect.
That's what you're saying.
You got to respect the guys who paved the way for you.
Period.
Right? I mean, he was an unbelievable actor.
Yeah.
Good
But
performer, too. And you know what? Girls loved him.
girls loved him. Good-looking guy. Smooth.
Good-looking guy.
Great.
Hey, could talk. You want to talk about someone who could talk?
Oh yeah, he's great.
This dude could talk a guy out of his pants.
Yeah, he was great.
Right?
I love John Leslie.
Right?
Yep. Jamie Gillis. You said.
He's a hard guy to describe because he's so interesting. You know what I mean? You got to know him. A lot of fun. Excellent performer. Weird performer. Different. You know what I mean? He was into some different stuff. Like, he'd do stuff with girls' feet and stuff where I just look at him, he'd get a little weird with them. Stick him in his ass and stuff,
Wow. But he was really an interesting guy.
Interesting.
Performance-wise, he was, some say he was a good performer.
Yeah. Kinky. He did more of the kinky stuff, which came across, which is, that's what they want to see. You're doing porn. Let me say this. He was a true porn star.
Right? Great actor.
Great
true
actor.
Porn star.
Great actor. But even in the sex scenes, he was a great actor too. I mean, he didn't let the character of the movie go in the sex scene. Neither did John Leslie. Neither did any of those guys. Those guys stayed the character, where I don't think us younger guys did, We didn't understand.
Yeah, they're high level up there.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Jerry Butler as a performer?
Jerry was an unbelievable actor too. I don't know. I mean, and he'll probably tell you something.
No,
right?
He's dead.
I know. I love that guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Let me tell you what. Greatest personality.
Yeah, I liked him.
Funny guy. Super guy. Great porn star. I mean, that's how porn was in those days. I mean, it wasn't like he was bad at all. He was good.
Okay.
But he wasn't. He wasn't Peter North. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Eric Edwards. Great.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Paul Thomas.
Great.
Great.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to say the performances weren't you. Let's back up here. The way you think your performances was, you would have laughed, because they weren't on that level, but for that time, they were great. Does that make sense? Because as the years went on, the guys got much better, much stronger.
Okay.
And then there was no Mark Davis or TT or Rocco back then. Nobody. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
I haven't heard of Savage. What?
Joey Silvera.
Great.
Great. I love Joey.
Joey was great. Joey was weird though. He was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just just Joey. But great. So I hired him a lot when I started shooting movies.
Yeah?
Oh, I hired him because he was so fun to be around and he was just so pleasant. And he was a great actor.
Yeah, I like Joey. Joey's great. I want to get him on a show, but
Is he still around?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah.
Is he still shooting movies?
Yeah, probably.
These guys are still
Trannies. No, he's not working. He shoots the tranny lines.
Oh, really?
Joey Silvera.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's been doing that for 20 years. So how was it working side by side in three ways with guys? Was it harder? Was it easier?
When I'd work with Peter, it was easy because, we had three ways when you go out to clubs and stuff. We'd meet girls at home. So it was easy. You know what? I'm going to tell you what. It was much easier in the 80s doing three ways than it was in the 90s, because it was just more comfortable. There weren't, who wants to do a three-way with you or Mark Davis? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You want to at least look good when you're doing a scene. You know what I mean? And I think some directors like to put guys they like but don't like, if you know what I mean.
Want to torture you.
I think
John Leslie put me and Rocco in a scene. I worked with Rocco probably 3 times. I mean, Rocco's great, right? First time I worked with him, I was working with Chessie Moore, probably 1990, right? And I saw Rocco. I said, "Fuck, this guy's a killer," right?
Right.
then we worked again. I think we worked again together, whatever, side by side, you know. And then John Leslie put us on a set side by side with everybody there. Jamie Gillis, Joey Silvera, watching the scene.
He was still working then.
No, watching the scene.
Okay.
They were, you know, to see.
Right.
To me, it seemed like they were watching to do that, right?
Have you ever worked in Italy?
No.
I went to work for a guy named Matera in Italy. Okay. You want to talk about not getting your dick hard? Me and Cal Jammer go to Italy to work for this guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ron Hightower. Remember Ron Hightower? He gets us to go there with him. Thinking, great, fucking Italy. They're going to pay us $10,000 for 10 days of work. Me and Cal Jammer, dick didn't get hard once.
Both of you.
Not once. Hey, guess what? Still have to pay us.
Oh, yeah? $10,000?
Why? Because Rocco made them.
Wow,
Rocco was on the set, and we start talking, and he's a cool guy, likes to work out. Yeah. So the first day of the movie, he's like, "Come on, you're coming with me. You're gonna stay at that shitty hotel. You're gonna come and stay at the hotel I'm at." Wow. I'm like, "But Rocco, I'm not getting my dick hard, dude. They're pissed. Fuck them.
Really?
You're coming with me. We ate at the nicest restaurants in Italy, bro. Bills are $400, $500. He's going on the set, handing him the check.
Wow, really?
He goes, watch this. He goes, by the way, Chuck's staying at my hotel. Here's his bill. Here's his food bill. And I'm like, they're going to send me home, bro. No, they're not. Don't worry about it.
Wow, really?
And he took care of us the whole time. Took us to see the hookers. Took us to the Coliseum. Wow. I mean, Phil, he spent the whole 10 days. He took everywhere. Took me everywhere. Really? Took me to his families. Took me to a lot of his friends. Really? And he said, listen, I'm coming to the USA next month because I'm going to work for a few months. Can you help me out to find a place? I go, I live in the marina. He goes, I need a boxing gym and I want to work at a Gold's Gym. So I go, you call me. So he calls. I go, you've been so kind to us here, dude. So generous, so nice. And he didn't have to be. This guy is the king of the business then, right? I mean, the king. Yeah, and he was so generous. So when he came to the marina, I went and picked him up at the airport. I got him a place at Oakwood, right there on Mindanao, right there on Washington and Mindanao. So got him a place there. So he stayed there, took him over to Gold, took him to the boxing gym. So he stayed right there for 2 months. The first day there, he sees a girl at the gym, beautiful blonde. Chuck, you know her? I'm like, dude, you can't talk to her. I'm like, he goes, well, why? What's wrong? Seymour's ex-girlfriend.
Shane?
Before Shane. Her name was Christy. Remember Christy, the first movie we did for Seymour? Tall blonde.
I don't remember. I just remember.
She was on the box cover.
No, I remember a scene. I remember Seymour being on a set.
She was in
possibly for Buttman's Ultimate Workout.
No. She was in a scene with you for Seymour. One of your first scenes. Yes, she was in his first 2 movies before Shane.
Can't remember.
And I said, that's Seymour's old girlfriend, right? He goes, Chuck, just introduce me to her, right, bro? He introduced me. So I introduce him, right?
He fucked her.
The next day he comes back to the gym. So, because I'll meet you at the gym. We'll train. I get off work. We'll train. It's okay. He says, we're working out, and she comes walking by. Hey, Christy, what's up? He says to her, I'm like, you seem kind of friendly. He goes, yeah, I took her to dinner last night over in Melrose. I'm like, yeah, how was it? He goes, yeah, I took her to dinner, went home, fuck her in the ass. I go, what is wrong with you? I go, for free? Wait. You took her to dinner. You just met her yesterday, took her to dinner, and then went and fucked her in the ass? Not even at home?
Wow.
Yeah. You're looking at me like, yeah, what's wrong with, like, why? Normal. It's normal. Like, dude, hey, in America, let me tell you what, Rocco, that's far from fucking normal. It's not normal. You don't just meet a girl, stick your 10-inch cock up her ass. It doesn't work that way. Oh, no, bro, she loved it. Seymour wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with me. Why? And Rocco was working for Seymour at the time. You know that, right?
No.
You remember Danielle Cheeks?
Yeah.
Okay. And he lived over in Playa del Rey. Seymour did?
Yeah, kind of.
So we would go over there and work, and he was working for him every movie when he was here. Every movie, and he just fucked his girlfriend. He wasn't happy. Seymour, he wasn't pissed at Rocco, pissed at me. For interrupting. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't think he was going to fuck her, bro. Wow, well, I just introduced him.
That's hers. That's on her.
Yeah, that's what I said. I go.
Rocco's great. I
just
mean,
Rocco, right?
He's always
so that's
so nice to me too.
Super. Anyway, so he treated us really good. I can't say enough nice things about him.
Is there any times that you're on the set and a girl not on the set, but at home, you were with a girl, maybe you were partying, and possibly the girl didn't want to go to work, and you were there watching her do a bullshit lie, cancel?
All the time.
All the time? Yeah? What's the best excuse the girl gave them?
No, they were always terrible excuses. At the end, I went out with this girl at the very, very end. Amethyst. Remember Amethyst?
Not really.
Dude, you fucked her a million times.
Really? Okay.
And she used to call up. We'd be partying. I was basically retired at this time. This is like almost 2004. And she'd give the shitty excuses to Jim Powers. And Jim Powers used to shoot all of my camera work in the beginning. So I'm like, Jim don't believe you. He don't believe a word you're saying.
They've seen everything.
And coked out of their mind trying. I go, you know what? Better off you give them some bullshit line now than show up to work like that. But you know what? Most of the time for a lot of those years I was with Shay, and she didn't party or anything. Oh, yeah. So it's like
she was really pretty. I thought she was a pretty girl.
She was really pretty.
Yeah, and she was super sweet.
Super nice.
Yeah. Shay sweet.
Super nice. Yeah. Super nice girl.
And her girlfriend's name was Kate.
Katie Gold.
Katie Gold. Yeah, she was cute. She was nice too.
Both of them.
But Shay had a pretty face.
Really pretty. Yeah. Really pretty.
So you brought in a girl, or I think you brought in Farrah, right?
Unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Well, you know what happened with her.
No, what happened?
Well, she went to prison.
Why?
I think she robbed some banks for the mob.
Farrah?
Yeah.
She was in the bank robbing them?
She worked out. She did some check scam with some mobsters in New York, and prison.
Oh, so check scam. She didn't rob the bank. She just
extortion like that. Yeah, so
extortion.
I met her in Florida right at the beginning when I went to work for Sunshine, and Rita, you know Rita, right?
Yeah, of course.
Owner of Sunshine. She got stuck in Israel or Beirut or somewhere over there, and she couldn't come back. So it was just Joseph. And I'm like, Joseph, I want to go to Florida. I got a guy down there that has some girls. Randy West had just gone there. Seymour had gone there. And he let me shoot it. He goes, here's money for 3 movies. Go down there. So the guy picks me up at the airport. He goes, we're going to go to the strip club. And this girl's beautiful. She's beautiful. And I said, okay, yeah, I've heard that before. I walk in, Phil, and she's on stage. I'm like, holy shit. And I ended up with blondes, but I'm not into blondes. I'm into dark hair. And I always end up with blondes. Blonde hair, and I'm looking at her like, holy shit, this girl's really beautiful. Beautiful girl. She goes, okay. I go, do you want to work? She goes, yeah, let's go do a scene right now. It's freezing cold. It's 10 o'clock at night, and we're driving, me and Kenny Kaneko. Do you remember Kenny? He worked with Buck. He was Buck's producer for the movie Blade that you did for Kevin. Asian guy. Remember back in the day. Anyway, so we get there, and we go look for a place to do a sex scene. So we find a parking structure in one of the stairwells where you walk down from floor to floor in the underground parking. So we go, within 10 minutes of meeting her, we're in a stairwell, got her dress up, and we're doing a scene right in the stairwell. I mean, this girl is beautiful. And you remember when she first came here.
She's not my style, but
not my style,
a lot of people.
For most people.
Striking look, right?
Kevin Beecham thought she was the best looking girl in the world. Uh-huh. Right? I mean, she was phenomenal. It was but that's his type. Mm-hmm. So and Kenny says, dude, you got to bring her back with you. You got to bring her back because people are going to love her there. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, but I'm going to have to fuck her. And I'm not really that sexually attracted to her, even though she's a 10. I mean,
yeah, but not somebody, yeah.
But not for me.
Yeah.
And she just, she's from Florida. She just was different. And so I brought her back, and, one thing led to another. And it got a little much for me, so I had to call Kevin and say, please come and get this girl.
Oh, really?
So,
she was a little bit crazy?
Kevin grabbed her. No problem, Chuck.
So he was taking her?
I'll come over and take her from you. He swooped her right up, took her up, stuck her at his house. And then she was under contract to him because he's like, I take all the girls to Kevin. Back in those days, whenever I have girls, I'd always go take them to Kevin, you know what I mean? And it'd be fun, right? And he'd love it. So I took her over there, and he loved her, and he signed her to a contract right away.
You know, that's ironic because there was another Farrah way back in the day, Farrah Fawcett. I had heard that Lee Majors, right, was like, hey, to that redheaded guy. What's the guy's name? The actor that Farrah Fawcett married?
Ryan O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal, right? So he knew that Ryan O'Neal would like her, and he was like Supposedly, I mean,
I didn't know
supposedly, that's what I had heard. Don't quote me 100%, but ironically, he left and Ryan O'Neal came over and then took her.
And you know what? I had her poster on my wall as a kid. Sixth grade, right?
Yeah.
I did.
Well, but fair, whatever.
Anyway,
No.
so yeah, she was anyway. So it just she's still around. Farrah's still around.
Really?
And she's just doing like escort stuff. I haven't talked to her in years. That was bad news. Too much trouble. I'll be honest with you. I saw that right away, and once I got away because it was for me. It would have been dangerous. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't rob. I don't do illegal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I see a girl with any type of problems, I'm running.
Yeah. I'm like, it just scared me back then because I wasn't,
Yeah, I would say, fuck this, man. I'm out.
She was I'm a guy. I'm not a pretty girl. You know what I mean? She thought she's a pretty girl, do whatever she wants. Unfortunately for a guy, you're just gonna get us in fights, right? I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
Oh, really?
Luckily, see, for me, I got lucky because people knew I was friends with Kevin, so they wouldn't fuck with me. So I probably got saved by a lot of ass beatings just because we were friends.
Kevin said his father ran Detroit mob.
Yeah. Kevin's a bad motherfucker.
Right.
Kevin is a bad motherfucker.
So, how many movies do you think you've done? Or scenes? What do you think you like to look at?
A lot. I mean, not compared to you, but a lot. I mean, did for a year and a half, 2 years straight in the 80s, and then in the from 94 to 2004. A lot. Because I did a lot in my own movies. If it was a Film or Butts movie, and she's giving me X amount of dollars to do the movie, I mean,
You're doing the scenes.
You're doing most of the scenes. You're making all the money.
That's
Right?
good, yeah.
And you figure, and the only other guys I would hire would be you and Mark Davis. And I'd hire really good guys that would be doing better scenes than me.
Take the budget
but
out,
my
yeah.
scenes would be okay because it was my own scene. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't do a scene with a normal director in a normal setting and do those kind of scenes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But why not double dip?
Maybe 1,000 scenes, 1,000 movies? 1,000 movies?
Yeah.
I looked up and said 868.
You got to remember, they don't show them all on there.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? So many of those Mark Carrier movies,
Yeah.
they're not even on there because they're
Plus, sometimes you do 2 scenes in a movie.
right.
So you don't really know how many scenes you did, right?
That's where you lose track.
Yeah. Anyways, so you told me, so how many movies did you direct before we forget about that, you think?
What happened is I just started doing those Film or Butts movies for Rita and Joseph. And after the first 4, after I brought Farrah back, I got pissed off because Rita wasn't here. So I went to Sin City. Mickey was in charge of Sin City at the time. And I did a Film or Butts over there, right? Now, at Sunshine at this time, Seymour's was their main line. But once he was gone, then it was my line. So they're moving 5,000 pieces, sideways, you know what I mean? So you're not really selling them for $15. You know what I mean? They do business a different way,
yeah.
right? You know them.
I
Right?
mean, their business.
But they had to have one bread and butter. So after I did that movie there, the other brother who really owns the company, he's from Iran or Iraq over there. That's where they're really from. They're not from Israel.
Really?
Rita and Joseph are not from Israel.
Oh, shit.
They're not from Israel. They're Persian.
Really?
They're not Israeli.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Come on. So Rita.
What's the difference, really?
Right. It's all the same.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I liked her, yeah.
Super, to me.
Darling!
Yella. Hangs the phone up, right?
Right, yeah, hung up on
Yella. I'm like, what the fuck does yella mean? What the fuck does that mean? So anyway, I went and did that movie over there and she came back into town. She said, what the fuck is going on? Can you come into the office? I go, I had it out with Joseph. He's an asshole. He goes, well, my other brother's here. So I went over and he says, tell you what, we're going to give you a Film or Butts every month. We'll do another series called Butt Watch, it was called, where it's just shot around a pool or a beach. You'll do that, and then you do a lesbian movie. Those were the 3 movies I could do. And I did those probably for about a year until Dawn, Nikki Ray says, Chuck, why don't you start going and getting other movies from other people? Are you crazy? So then I started doing that. At one time when I was working at Sin City running the production with VP, Vice President at Sin City, I was shooting 3 movies there during the week, right? And then on my weekends, I would do 2, 4, 6, 8 movies I would shoot for other people.
Really?
Every single month,
Wow.
except for Christmas time maybe. This is in 64, 74, 84, 94, 98. In 1997, 98, 99, I mean, I do 2 movies for Dane. I do 1 for Coast to Coast. I do the 3 for Sunshine. I do so.
You're making money.
Fuck.
How much you making? What's your best month?
Well, for Rita, they would give me $25,000 for the Fillmore. So you got to figure I make 15 because you spend 10 on a Gonzo, right? And if I'm doing,
Wow, that's serious. That's good.
I mean, if I'm doing 3 or 4 of the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing 3 ways and stuff just so the other guys are in the movies. I'm spending 10, 15, and then the other 2 movies I make 5 each. So just from her, probably 25. But then the other ones, I'm making, dude, I know numbers and you're good at talking. I could never do a movie for less than $5,000, right? In my pocket. And you'd have other guys going over to Rita, like Spallone and these guys getting like no money. And super great guy. I don't know. You know Rob?
Yeah, of course.
Good guy. But they started coming in.
Undercutting you.
Goes to David Sturman. David, I got a blowjob. Well, Chuck's already doing a blowjob. What are you paying him? $7,500. I can do it for $3,000. I'm like, oh no.
So you were doing 8 movies a month
I would
sometimes.
say 2, 4, 6, probably 10 movies a month.
10 movies
Probably
a
10
month.
movies a month.
And so what do you think you're bringing home?
10 movies a month. But you know, around Christmas time, maybe not for the other companies because they'd slack off, but Sunshine would stay.
Yeah.
I would say, and for David, I think when I was working there at Sin City, he was paying me. The deal I had was $20,000 a month, and I would produce every movie, which meant he would know where all the money went. I said, you know, David, you can control getting ripped off if we just keep it all in house, right? So we'd shoot 3 there, and it was $20,000 there. Dude, you know, that was the one time Rita introduced me to the stock market back then, to a friend of hers in the stock market, because she saw me in the beginning blow a lot of money, and she'd say, "You're blowing all your money. You're going to end up with nothing." So she introduced me to her stockbroker, and you know, and looking back, that was like the best thing that anyone's ever done.
Really?
Oh my God!
So you made some money?
Because she would take money from my thing. We'd have a deal. So every movie I shot for her, she'd take $500 while I was there getting the check, and she'd call the stockbroker guy we dealt with,
really?
and she put it into the account. And back then, I believe the 2 stocks she had me buy were Pfizer and Apple.
Oh, God.
This is
Apple, huh?
Apple was. I get into it, Phil, and I didn't understand the stock market and nothing about it. I kept arguing with her. "Why are you taking $500? She goes, "Chuck, you're going to thank me later." She goes, "You're not going to miss this $500 on each movie, $1,500 a month." I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Trust me, I know you're making money. You can't blow this money, right?" So those were the 2 stocks we bought. Pfizer before Viagra.
Oh my God, really?
Apple when it was only 1 computer. It was only the Apple. Remember the first one?
How much?
I don't even remember the price, but in those days, you can imagine.
Wow.
So a lot of the movies I did, I would spend so much money. But you know what I do? Every movie I do, I take $500 and I'd stick it in the stock market, in these stocks. And over the years.
So how much did you make? $1 million, $2 million?
No. I don't want to say it. We don't really talk.
But I mean, it's
A lot.
not
Let me say
$1 million?
I didn't.
You had to make
more
$1
than
million.
that. More than that. I didn't realize it until I was done, though. Do you understand? She had me.
Then you spent it?
No. I spent every other cent besides that.
So you still have the stocks?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, I didn't understand the stock market, and Rita had me so paranoid that, Chuck, if you take the money out, you lose it all but 20%, which wasn't true. But I'm partying. I'm having a good time. I'm making money. I didn't even think about it. I just left the money there. And the day it was over and we lost the name to Seymour, and Rita says, "Okay, it's over because we don't own the name anymore." But Chuck, you have all the stocks. I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you know how much money that is?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And that's when she showed me. She goes, "Okay, now you can start taking money out." Really? And I was blown away. I mean, and Phil, had that never happened, I would have left with nothing. Because I mean, in that business, you spent a lot of money. Or I did. You were very frugal with your money, even though you had nice stuff. You understood that. I was in it for fun. You know what I mean? It was fun to me.
Wow, that's great.
So I get that was very, very lucky.
So you have a lot of shares still of Apple?
Still.
Wow, that's great.
I'm gonna tell you this. You know what? You've heard of Barstool Sports, right? Barstool Sports? You never heard of it? A guy named Dave Portnoy owns Barstool Sports. They were bought by a company called Penn. Penn is a gambling company, Penn International. I bought into Penn when it was at $4.
What is it now?
86.
That is wonderful, man. Really?
So lucky.
Awesome.
So lucky.
I love it.
Just, luck. That wasn't, I mean, there's no skill there. I got lucky because I could have ended up with nothing, dude.
Yeah.
And when I quit, stopped doing it, I didn't realize I even had that money. I didn't even realize how much it was. Let me put it that way. I thought it was just everything I put in plus a little bit.
Great.
You know what I mean?
I love it, yeah.
I wasn't intelligent with the stock market. I didn't understand. And you know what? I never told anyone I was putting a little money away. I never said nothing because I didn't think it was a big deal. As stupid as that might sound now, and I know
I wish I would have known
sounds
something.
stupid for saying that, and without Rita, I would have never known that.
Unbelievable.
So to this day, I mean, I hear people talk about them. I say, I love them. You know?
I liked Rita. So you think, besides that, you're making about what, 50 or 60 a month at your best time? 70 a month?
Yeah.
60, 50?
25, 60, 70.
60, 70 a month?
God, that sounds like a lot when you talk about it now. But you know what? It wasn't a lot because about that time, the guys started doing their own movies with Red Light. And these guys are making some ridiculous money. The money you made in distributing is ridiculous money. So that kind of money was nothing. You know what I mean?
No, it's money. No, I don't disrespect money.
I mean,
that's a lot of money. That's just,
you know, I was having so much. Those were the funnest years. Working for David, the funnest years of my life. Because I got along with him great, his family.
You ran the company or you just directed?
Yeah, I ran production at the company.
Ran production.
But it was me and Mark Snyder kind of run the company. But they wasn't really running the company back then. They kind of just ran on itself. But I would produce all the movies and be in charge of that part of it.
Okay. When you talk to David Sternum, I mean, I really like talking to him.
It's a great guy, dude.
But if
I mean, he's like a father to me. I like a father. Kevin's like a big brother. David's more like a father, like family man. Does not fuck around with girls. Nothing. Straight business. Unbelievable wife and kids. I mean, I really got very close with the family. Like Thelma, who runs his, you know.
Yeah, they still owe me money, but all right.
You want to get paid? If you want to get paid, you got to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I do know. I met her a couple times, but whatever. They
Super nice.
Owe me 10 grand, but okay.
Okay, we'll go on.
But so if you care for them so much, let's move on. So, we're running out of time, so we're gonna have to narrow it down here. In 2 words, can you describe your experience in porno?
Unbelievable. You know what? That was just a golden age of porn. And not many guys or girls can go back that far. I mean, you do. You know what it was like in the 80s. It's just a different time, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, you know, for many years, porn was not okay. You don't know how many girlfriends I lost because they found out I had done porn in the past.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and it sucked. It was hard. Look, Peter told you the same thing. He wanted to quit. We all wanted to quit because we were losing our girlfriends. We're pretty girls. And
yeah. I had the same deal with Amy. Yeah.
Same thing happened.
Same shit, yeah. But
you know what? Now that we have those memories, can't trade them for the world, man.
I wouldn't trade it for $1 billion. Would you?
Never.
It can't
never. Be. No, you don't even understand what that time was like unless you were there.
Yeah.
Right?
Just
I mean, it was
mysterious,
illegal,
fun,
underground.
You felt special. You felt like you were somebody.
You felt like you were a star when you were just someone fucking in the movies and drive here. So the cops are following us. Gotta drive here. They're following us. And everyone was getting busted. I was on a couple sets getting busted. It was
really?
Jerry T.
You got busted? The cops came?
Yes. Mark Carrier.
Really? Took you away or no?
The Jerry T. They took us to Van Nuys Station.
Really?
And Jerry had to get us out. Jerry was there with us. And then Biff Malibu.
Really?
6 o'clock in the morning, the feds come in the door and I'm sleeping on the couch. Dick Nasty's in one room with a girl. Chris is back in his room and I'm on the couch and just come busting in the door. There'd be 30 cops in our living room. And Chris is diabetic. So he comes out all, you know what I mean? If you're diabetic, you got to get sugar. And they're like, what's he on, heroin? I'm like, no, give him some sugar. So I gave him some sugar, and he was signing for Kevin Beecham's movie. It was for amateur movies. Some girl that we met on the boardwalk, a buddy of mine, meet her on the boardwalk, and she happened to be underage.
Oh my
Who knew?
Yeah. Well, we're out of time. So this is anything else you want to say?
No, man, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
You look like you should still be doing scenes.
Oh, you're too nice. Come on, man.
Are you gonna go back?
He's got the silver tongue.
You're gonna go back and do them again?
I might be like you. I might be like, I'm out of the zone. I haven't performed professionally for 20 years.
Do you really believe that? I don't think so. you know that's not true. I would love to see you go back and do it straight and show these other guys that are working and the girls.
When I was an actor, sometimes I was pretty strong, so I wonder about that too. Can the people handle?
Well, isn't there people working that you still know right now? They're directors.
Oh yeah, I could go.
If you work for someone you knew, dude, it'd be fun for you.
Yeah, you think I could do it?
I think all your fans would love to see it. I'll be honest with you. I think all your fans would love to see it.
If I have any fans by this time, No, just TTBoy TV.
Dude,
but I don't,
you and Rocco to this day are still the biggest two porn stars ever.
No, Peter North is number one. Come on.
Not performer. He's not on your. I mean, Al's the best. Al's a great porn star. But there's you and Rocco on that level. Still the same thing. Even with all the Viagra, I think. Right? I'd put you up against all the guys with Viagra. I wouldn't care.
No, thanks. You're too kind. It was
pleasure. I've had a good time.
Time flies by and it's weird. But anyways.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
May you live long, healthy, and prosperous. And I'm very happy that you got some stock and you're kicking ass. I love it. Man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. You too.
TTBoy TV out.